Hello and welcome to It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where geeks talk about geek-related stuff. Together, we tell you the news, we tell you reviews, we've got features, we've got all sorts going on tonight, and I'm not going to waste any time this evening. We're going to bring out some more geeks for you. So first of all, he's here every week. It's your friend of mine. It's none other than Geek Central himself. It's Nathan Webb.
Hey, up.
I thought you'd frozen then. I was like,
No, sorry, I don't want a stupid joke. What a stupid thing to do.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's gone down before.
I'll leave you hanging.
Yeah. How we doing? You all right?
I'm all right, man. I missed Mr. Gittins this week.
I was just about to say we've got a bit of sad news. One of the geeks isn't here. We've got a geek down.
Oh, he's not dead at all.
No, he's not. He's not dead. He's doing panto, isn't
he? Doing some work.
He's working. We've got an image. So
he works hard for his money.
There he is.
There he is. Son of a bitch. If I could crawl into that computer and lick him on the face, I would.
We've got him at work as well. We got live feed of him at work there.
What he did to that guy? He wasn't even trying. He knocked him flying. He knocked him right in his ass.
Yeah.
He told me the story behind that photo as well. He said he had to stand like that in the same spot without moving for 7 hours.
7 hours?
Yeah.
And that guy, I feel sorry for that guy though, flipping for 7 hours like that. That's not good, is it?
He's got it worse, hasn't he, to be fair?
Yeah. So we're in charge of the show tonight, as you might have gathered if you're watching. Welcome if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube or Twitch this evening. Feel free to join in with the show, leave your comments. But you know what? We thought tonight we can't do this on our own. There's got to be somebody we can reach out to come onto the show to help us out this evening, to keep things flowing, keep us in line. Who do you call? You call somebody who's been on the show before.
For the job.
Tell us who it is.
The best of all, the cream of the crop. I'm overselling it now, but it's true. She is, and she's right here. Where are you? She's not there.
She's here. It's Natalie. Here we go.
She is, you son of a bitch.
Here, right, you've got me. I'm here.
Are you all right now?
I'm really, really well, and it is absolutely lovely to be back at the Geek Show with you gorgeous faces. Gittins who? Kings who?
Oh, don't
I
say
shouldn't
that.
actually, because I've just seen him with a sword, so I should probably be really nice about him.
It's a fake
one.
He's
trained.
He is, exactly.
He's trained to miss you. So you'll be all right. That's what all fight coordinators do, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? That's why they're no good in a fight.
Yeah, they get their asses kicked.
What? Never actually hit anyone.
Big Timor's here. Hello, Big Timor.
Big Timor, hello.
What's going on?
What's happening? He'll tell us in a minute, I think. Welcome to the show, everybody. I've got Nat. We did a gig, didn't we? Geek related, Bridlington Comic Con last weekend.
Everyone's got a Comic Con, isn't it? Crazy.
Yeah. It was good, wasn't it? It was a really nice venue.
It was good. And what did we meet? We met the Gremlins. There we are.
We did.
And we met Jaws.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go.
About posing for a photo, that takes a lot of trust.
I know.
Shark to just lie there and open his mouth. Don't bite me. I just want a photo.
I think he was drugged. I think they drugged him, to be honest.
Some of them tranked. I got bored.
Patients are in control this time. You're right. There's no getting out.
Have taken over.
Lock the door. There's gonna be no order tonight.
We haven't got a plan. We're just gonna wing. I'm kidding. We have got a plan. Getting calm down. Don't worry.
He's on his way now.
Hey, Spidey fans!
Stanley!
Welcome to the show! Not now, Stan. Come on.
Did he do that a lot?
He comes on at wrong time, does Stanley, unfortunately. Like, he should have come on at the start, and he came on and said, hi, Spidey fans, welcome to the show. It's too late. It's already
really weird as well. He always seems to come on when Lummy's feeling like Stan Lee's impression is with him. I don't know. It's like he knows. It's like he knows.
Hang on, I'll take a drink. It won't happen when I'm drinking, surely.
No.
Oh,
sorry guys, I am just getting over a horrendous cold, which has left me with a bit of a lingering cough, so I'm going to end up...
Has everybody got a cold? I've got a bit of a...
Suddenly now, Chris has got a cold.
It was really awful, actually. Pretty awful. Yeah. Mostly because I didn't think anybody were going to believe me. I thought I'd been that ill this year, on and off, that it's just going to look like I'm taking the piss, but...
Everybody thinks it's serious. I mean, speaking of serious issues, though, we have got a bit of news, haven't we? A couple of sad passing away this week.
These bloody selfish celebrities that just won't stop dying on us. What's going on?
Poor Norm Mcdonald, one of my favourites. There he is.
Oh, mate. That guy, I didn't know he'd written this joke. My brother got in touch last week to say, have you heard of Norm Mcdonald? I was like, oh, man, I remember the name. And then I Googled it and I'd seen that he died and stuff. And my brother reminded me of a joke that Norm Mcdonald does that I didn't know was him. I just thought it was a great dad joke. And it's about, you must have seen it. It's about the moth who goes to the podiatrist.
Yeah.
You've seen it in that.
No.
So the moth goes to the podiatrist. This is a tribute to Norm Mcdonald. I'm not going to do. It's one of those jokes that you're meant to embellish and just keep going. I'll give you the
for a while,
bit, and you add to it whatever you want, but you got to keep the punchline basically. The moth goes to the podiatrist. The doctor says, "Are you all right? What can I do for you?" He says, "Oh, doc, things are going really bad." He says, "I wake up next to a woman I'm no longer in love with. It's a shell of a marriage. Can't stand her." He said, "My 2 kids are so ungrateful. They make me want to blow my fucking brains out." And he goes on and on and on about the depression, all the horrible shit that's in it. So eventually the doctor says, "But I think you need a psychiatrist. I'm a podiatrist. Why have you come here?" And the moth goes, "Well, your light was on." But the longer you go on with it, the more details.
But the video's brilliant. It's all from the Conan O'Brien show. If you go on,
about 12 minutes long or something.
So
it
good.
Goes
He's
on
so
and
good.
on and on.
But
he's really
honestly,
good at milking it. Yeah,
he was brilliant. Norm Mcdonald. He said what he wanted, and told it how it was. And he got, it cost him his job at Saturday Night Live, but he didn't care. He told loads of O.J. Simpson's jokes.
How many impressions he used to do as well? The Burt Reynolds he does is brilliant.
Yeah, Rod Sterling in it as well. Or Sterling from is it Sterling or Sterling from Twilight Zone? You know what I mean? Picture a Man. He used to do that as well.
Oh, the narrator guy.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
died.
He used to do an impression of him on the show.
Oh, all right.
But it was good.
Anyway. Can't keep up with all these deaths.
Sorry, but also John Chalice, wasn't it, from
yeah.
Benidorm, yeah, Boise.
I
saw him. I did a gig at Doncaster Racecourse of all places, and he was there. And all the ladies were coming up getting photos with him. They were like, "There we go." This was years ago, and his missus started having a go at him because he was like flirting with them. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. So.
Still got it. He's still
bit
got
of a card, yeah. Bit of a card.
Not again, John. You're not taking me down that road. I thought we cleared this up when horses ended.
Yeah.
So he had his own show for a little while as well, didn't he, Boise?
Green Grass, it was called. Yeah. I never really cottoned on. But let's, sad times. People are dropping off, unfortunately, aren't they? As they get to this time of life. Anyway, let's.
At least we've still got Stan Lee. At least he's.
Oh no! Oh, don't do it. You'll set me off.
Oh, no,
that's too professional. Too professional for the stream. You're right.
I highly agree. Yeah.
Thank you.
You do look a bit. You look a bit too pro tonight. Now. You look a bit.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Put food down.
Did you not know what show you were coming on? Did you think it was something more? Did you think it was like a book show or something, like some highbrow?
Yeah. Not countdown. Scruff yourself up a bit.
I didn't want to let you down, guys. What can I say?
Oh, you could never.
I'll put some food down me or something.
Yeah. You read something while you're talking. Just get it all. Yeah, that'll be better. So we've got a bit of movie news, haven't we, this week, Webb? What have we got? Bit of news?
Well, movie, TV sort of news. I mean, I've been sort of going on about this for a couple of weeks because I feel like it's going to be really good. They're finally releasing on Disney Plus, I think, this week, 23rd, I think. Why the Last Man, based on a comic book. Absolutely fantastic, funny as balls comedy comic. Well, we're going to say comic, but I'm going to say comedy comic because it is a comedy comic. But Nat, you would love this. You'd absolutely love it. It's way ahead of its time. So it's all set around the premise that all the men die on the planet overnight, and the planet becomes run by women. And except for one guy and his pet monkey, who's a male, they're the last 2 males on the planet. So they're wandering around, wondering what the hell's going on when they all of a sudden they bump into the new military that's all made up of women and the president's involved. And the cast for this thing looks great. But the best thing about it is it's funny. It's a really, really funny script in this comic. So I've got hopes that if you kept some of the jokes in there and not made it too like Walking Dead and a bit dark, then it could be a good laugh.
I've seen the trailer.
Very
and
good.
it looks
The trailer
very
didn't look very funny, did it?
It didn't. The trailer doesn't look funny. It looks like a lot of action, though. A lot of fighting.
How old's the comic as well, Webb?
Oh my God! I mean, at least 10 years. At least I think. I mean, I could pretend I know. Just
don't pretend you know.
Facts that I'm clearly reading on my iPad.
Just say 10 years.
7 years old. Yeah, about 10 years. It's been around a while, but it's written by a guy called Brian K. Vaughan, who's a really good comic book writer. He wrote my favorite comic of all time, which is Saga, which is a brilliant, funny, beautiful Star Warsy type tale. It's like Star Wars if Star Wars wasn't neutered by Disney. You know what I mean? So, yeah, great.
There were another trailer for Dune one as well. I don't know if we talked about that.
Dune is getting some really, really good reports from the test screenings and stuff.
I've heard good things.
Yeah,
want to see that. I actually watched the original the other day again, and I don't. It's so weird. It's like there's so much narration in it, and all the thoughts, and they're all thinking, "I'm going to walk to the door now." You're like, "What? Did you need to say that out loud?" Maybe not.
My dad wasn't a massive movie fan. He read a lot, and he read Dune. Read all the Dune, the whole saga and everything. Really looking forward.
All 12 months of it.
In the mid-80s, was really looking forward to that movie coming out.
Right.
But I vividly remember the look of disgust on his face after he'd seen it.
I hate that.
I mean, really I forgot he had Patrick Stewart in one of his earlier roles, so it was quite good to see him.
Sting's in it. There's a few weird people that pop up in it, isn't there?
There's nothing worse than being madly in love with a book and then them disappointing you with a movie.
Well, that brings us neatly later on to Stephen King, because that is one of the things I wanted to talk about.
We'll talk about that later.
Topic for the evening, not a retrospective as such, just to chat about King.
The
King. So let's have a look. What else we got in the news? You want to talk about Doctor Strange? Something's happening with that, innit?
Oh yeah, apparently. Now I don't want to. This is somebody else. I don't want to take credit for figuring this out, but somebody somewhere has leaked. So part of the multiverse of madness. Cover your ears if you don't want spoilers. But part of the multiverse of madness is this thing about the Marvel Illuminati, and they're the people that Doctor Strange work with that control the secret behind the scenes stuff, yeah. So we all know who those are in the comic books, and some guy has had a sneak peek at some of the script or something that's come with it, and reckons that the Illuminati in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness going to involve our first. I won't say who the other people are in case I ruin that, but they reckon they've figured out that one of the X-Men is going to appear in this.
All right.
It's heavily rumored to be Charles Xavier, who is part of the Illuminati in the comic books.
Right.
If you're interested in that, have a Google, see who else. There's loads of other people on the list, but yeah, that's the most nerd. Yeah.
Jay-Z, Beyonce, apparently they're in the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Right.
Gotta say allegedly, just in case. Just in case they are. Well.
Yeah, in case they're watching.
They're definitely watching.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they might comment in a minute.
Beyonce.
Loved
your last album.
There's some good theories. They've reportedly had a talk with Patrick Stewart, haven't they, about it as well. So whether he's going to be,
I mean that's the other thing. Is it McAvoy or Stewart in this? Yeah,
come on, gotta be Stewart on it. Come on.
Oh, well, I mean I like both, but I prefer Stewart. I think.
Yeah. Mr. Worf, make it so. There you go.
I don't think that you're allowed to be honorary Yorkshire person if you don't prefer Stewart. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Do you know what? I was having my tea earlier before the show, and I watched an episode of Star Trek Next Generation just because it were on, and I thought he's good.
Have you seen any of the Picards then?
No,
I've seen. Yeah, I've seen it.
Are they good?
Well,
up to like season 3 already.
I mean, we don't talk about Star Trek on this show usually, but I'll tell you what I do think. I think it works better as episodic.
Episodic.
Okay.
And it's not episodic.
We don't talk about Star Trek because we hate it or anything. It's just that we don't know enough about it to talk about it, and we know that the people watching will be really offended if we get it wrong. So
fair enough.
Somebody will go. Actually, it was
until a grown-up shows up.
Yeah, we'll get a Star Trek expert on the show. One day we'll get a. There we go, Big T More. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, it wasn't great, was it?
Big T More, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would put money on that. That's not Patrick Stewart's fault. I bet he's fucking acing it. He's got to be.
Pat's always good.
He is. You can guarantee.
I call him Pat, mate.
You've overstepped the mark, sunshine.
I am. He'd be totally fine with that.
Are you sure?
He's that kind of person. I guarantee. The only person he doesn't like is James Corden. Watch that video of him having a tussle at the awards. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Amazing.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. He tells it, goes, James, why don't you take your hands out of your pockets while you're presenting awards? You shit or something.
All right, okay.
He doesn't like him, does he?
No, I think they made up at later on, but you know.
Yeah, I mean,
what are we wrong about?
I think Picard beat.
Oh no! Come on, Big Team. No.
Oh, he was shit as well. Okay.
No, he won. Yeah. He won.
Well, I guess he's had a good run, hasn't he? He's bound to do some shit eventually.
We'll agree there, Big D, to say you're wrong about that.
Oh well, the thing is, it can't be that wrong because if it's all about Picard and yet the show is shit.
Star Wars, what is it to say other than live long and prosper? Oh, trying to bait us.
Yeah, I like it.
See what you did there.
Yeah. Polar Knights, I don't know if Polar Knights has been on the show before. Welcome.
Hello, Polar Knights.
Twitch viewer, nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
Usually people come off of Twitch and just say, hey, do you want to be famous? Click this link. But not tonight.
Yeah. Meet beautiful girls in your area. I've got a beautiful girl in this area. Leave me alone.
She's all over your area.
Sometimes, yeah.
Know what I mean?
Just get off my area.
Yeah.
She's on your area all the time, isn't she? It's embarrassing.
All the time.
Yeah.
It is. She's on his area right now, below the
Every
webcam.
2 minutes, just put it down.
Right, okay. One thing, it's not really news, but I saw Shang-Chi.
Oh, yeah, you said.
And the Legend of the Ten Rings. Brilliant. Highly recommended. I loved it.
I went to pick the kid up from school today. I was chatting to the other mum that I know from the school. And she went to see it the weekend. And she doesn't really like Marvel films or anything, but she was like, it was really, really good. I thought, I had no interest in this film because it's not a character I'm familiar with, and I thought I will end up seeing it, but I can wait.
Do you know what though? I think that
take my little butt to the cinemas.
I think it makes it better when you don't know much about the characters. I really do, because I was saying with this, I thought I've never read any of these, don't know what it's about. I'll go watch it. Only watched the trailer once before I'd seen it as well, which always helps because you spoil it all, don't you? And it was great. It reminded me of seeing Iron Man for the first time, something that nobody really knew anything about. And it came out and everybody went, oh.
Yeah.
It was really just, do you know what? The characters were good as well. The main characters, him and his sidekick in it, she's great. So
all leads back to Iron Man as well, though. There wouldn't be a Shang-Chi without people going to see Iron Man. None of it, we won't be watching it. It's brilliant what that film did.
I'll tell you what as well, there's been all this stuff released on like Disney Plus and all these shows and that. Seeing this at the cinema, I thought it feels like a cinematic movie again, this, because you've been watching all this stuff on TV, you get a bit spoiled by it, I think. You think, oh, you could just watch it on here now when it comes out on that. But I think to go watch it at the cinema, like, yeah, this is a cinematic film. It was good. So yeah,
I'm different to Gittins in that Gittins don't really like going to the cinema. I can watch a movie at home easily, but I also really love going to, especially when it's quiet and when it's a good film. Can't beat seeing a decent film on the big screen.
New Doctor Who soon. I don't know. Have they announced who?
Polar Knights, is that a new Doctor Who or a new series of the current Doctor Who?
I think there's one more in there with that Jodie Whittaker in it, and then it's moving on. Because John Bishop.
Why have they sacked her? Was she not?
I think she left. I think the ratings stumbled, but it's got John Bishop as a sidekick though. This next one.
Is it because people are still inherently sexist and they can't handle a female doctor? Is that it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've never really been a Doctor Who fan ever. My brother, one of my brothers he loves it. I used to love it.
When I was a kid, I used to want to like it, but every time we watched it, I remember hiding. I remember hiding when the music came on, so I never got a chance. I didn't really stand a chance to get into it because I couldn't watch it. Too scary for Webby.
I mean, I hid because the quality of the sets. I thought, they're shoddy.
Awful.
Yeah, I can't watch this.
What was I going to say about?
Whoa.
Oh, Sting. Going back to Sting.
Whoa there. Whoa, his mum's not in his area. Steady on.
What?
You're backing up the wrong tree with my mum. Now, just wanted to go back to Sting, because I've been watching Only Murders in the Building, the new Steve Martin short thing on Disney Plus. Now, I went into it thinking, it's probably going to be a bit showbiz, a bit over the top, a little bit cheesy, no swearing, that sort of thing. Wrong. I was completely wrong. It's like they've modernised their act. So they are still Steve Martin and Martin Short. They're still very showbiz, but the swearing in it, it's a bit different. And Sting's in it. Have you seen the one with Sting yet, Lummy?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's so good. It's such a good show. I love it.
It's really funny. It's really sweet and it's got a charm about it. And I'm genuinely interested and intrigued as to what's going on in this building.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good fun. It's highly recommended. I think it's because I was banging on about it to you all night on our web and
the other thing is I didn't realise last night, but I was up to episode 3. I thought I'll watch this one and I'll go to bed. But the 4th one started and I didn't realise. But there's only 4 episodes out, so I've left myself with nothing to watch. To watch it tonight.
I think there's 10 in total. I think there's 10 coming out in there. But Paul and I just said Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
I mean, I love Red Dwarf.
We're on about. Yeah, Red
Huge
Dwarf.
fan of Red Dwarf. No idea where you've got it from, but
most of it. Vigil is that one that's on the BBC, right? Is that the one with this like line of duty in the submarine or something?
And they're about to conclude that. There's a big thing about that all coming, like a big cliffhanger. I haven't watched it.
I'm a little bit behind on stuff like that. We missed the past couple of big BBC ones. We got up to the end of Line of Duty, but the submarine one, yeah. But I think it's by the creators of some Line of Duty, Luther type stuff. Oh, Luther's getting a movie as well. You know,
really?
A movie of Luther. Something's not right. Well, he does in that show. Something's not right.
That'll be the trailer right there. You've just had an exclusive.
Yeah.
Don't know why it's got the Terminator music.
I do apologise to Idris Elba. It sounded a little bit more like Ray Winston than Idris Elba.
Ray Winston. Did you see Black Widow with Ray Winston's accent? We already talked about this.
Oh my good giddy! Are you kidding me?
Stop it,
It's like he showed.
Hello, comrade. I'm Russian, aren't I?
Yeah. And
Yeah, you are, Ray. Well done.
I'm assuming it's the same deal as usual, right? You give me a role to play, tell me where I'm from, and I just fucking ignore you. It's
like Sean Connery all over again.
I'm just about to say he's the modern Sean Connery. He's taking over that mantle of I can do any accent so long as it's my own.
Right, for me, is if it had said I'm a Russian scientist or whatever it is, Russian bad guy, and I'm gonna talk in a Cockney accent all the way through, I'd have been fine with that. But he don't. He tries to dip a toe in, so it's a little bit Russian, tiny bit Russian for like maybe 15% of a sentence, and the rest of it's just Ray Winston. Yeah, some people get away with murder, don't they?
Yeah,
honestly, it's weird, isn't it, how they get away with it? I don't get it. Well, they're casting this movie and they just go, "Yeah, we want Ray Winston at any cost." Can you do a Russian? No, don't matter. Put him in.
Yeah. Don't matter. Doesn't really matter.
Nobody else who can do it, is there? I mean, it's crazy.
I'd forgotten all about that, but you bang on. Even the guy from Stranger Things had a proper go at a Russian accent, didn't he?
Yeah. Gary Oldman in Air Force One, Russian accent. Pretty good.
Yeah, but Gary Oldman is one of my favourite actors of all time.
We all know this.
And his method is great. Yeah. However, he's worse in a way because I've got bigger expectations from Gary Oldman than I do from Ray Winston. Ray Winston's a fine actor. He's great in what he is, but Gary Oldman knocks it out of the park usually. But his Commissioner Gordon, with his dodgy American accent, I find some of his accents a little dodgy. A little bit
Forgot about that. Forgot.
But it was in Sid and Nancy and stuff, so who cares?
Is Chris from the Valleys?
Chris who?
I guess does he mean me?
What
we haven't been talking about any other Chris.
The Valleys of Wales?
No. Boyo.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. No.
Definitely. Yeah, so, I mean...
Welsh? Is that like Elvish?
I'd love to be able to do a Welsh accent. It really bugs me. I wish you could learn it.
I'm from the valley. I've had a bit of bother with my sheep in the field, and I...
That's not bad, actually.
They were all right, that,
Come on, Nat, you can do a Welsh
That
accent.
sounds a little bit like.
I don't think I can do it as well as you can, though. I think
good.
your Welsh is better.
Yours is way better.
Now, here's Ray Winston doing a Welsh accent. All right, I'm from the valley.
Daffodils.
I'm going down the mine.
Across the valleys, comrade. Get away with murder. Watched Naked Gun other day. Still a good. Yes.
I mean, this brings up this whole point of whether we're still allowed to enjoy movies like that were made before we knew anything.
Of course we are.
I think we are.
I watched Naked Gun 2.5 other week again. It was funny. It was good.
It's got some classic jokes in it for me. But my brother made this point the other week. He says he keeps remembering films that he liked when he was younger and putting them on for him and his kids who are, I believe, like 11 and 13-ish now. Maybe I've missed a year or two now. Around about that age. And he put these movies on with them and they're like, Dad, this is so not woke or whatever they say. You know what I mean? You just cannot get away with this stuff now. And he says one of them, he says he did it himself. He watched Short Circuit 2 the other day, completely forgetting that guy rounds up in it. And he just does a hideous Indian accent for the entire film. So,
I mean, to be fair, he did it in the first one as well. I mean, you know, let's be honest.
But he won't do as much.
And
I think you should use these as instructional videos. Like, kids, if you don't go to bed, I'm going to make you watch Short Circuit 2. I'm going to offend you so badly. You know
I mean, Short Circuit 2, I must say, I do like the film. It's just a shame that, that's in it. Because you think, you know, I'm all for Johnny Five in the big city.
That's a reboot we could get away with. Oh, that's another one I heard about. They're doing a Flight of the Navigator reboot.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I never.
Yeah. Well, again, they can't they? You know, Disney as well. It'll be a Disney Plus series.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is.
Disney. I love sheep meat from the valleys, so tender salt. So I guess you're from the valley then, or you just pop over.
Maybe just likes eating Welsh meat or sheep.
Hey up.
The name is
that makes it sound like it's raw, doesn't it? Like you're going
sinister.
to the valley.
That's all sinister.
I just go kill sheep in the valley and eat it raw.
A bit werewolfy. Beware the moon.
It sounds like
to the road.
a Stephen King character, that.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I love to eat salty sweet meats.
Salty, tender, salty meats.
Have we got any more news?
It's a bit Royce from Daisy, isn't it?
Oh, the other news was just Kevin Smith keeps updating his clerks.
He's finished editing it. He's got a cut ready to show this Friday.
I was surprised. He showed that screenshot, didn't he, of his editing suite? And I'm like, I wonder if there's something. Look, you can see all his programs at the bottom of the screen. What's he got? What's he got?
Oh, yeah, what's he got down at bottom?
He's got.
Oh, no. Not interesting.
Final cut notes.
Not for you.
He's an avid media composer.
Well, it's nice to know that I've got a similar computer to Kevin Smith, so if I wanted to, I could just make a movie on this.
Yeah. The difference is his computer will be that big and it'll be like, have all the editing suites on it.
But from what he said, and I find, we were talking about this a little bit before we came on tonight, I find that Kevin Smith is quite honest about what he's doing at the time. So if it's a movie that he don't think anybody's going to watch or he's not particularly proud of, he'll say, Yoga Hose is in for everybody. I'm stoned, give me a break, Yeah. But with this one, he says, as he's putting it together, it's genuinely made him laugh a lot, and he thinks it's one of his best films, and he's really pleased with it, and I think that's cool. I mean, I'm bound to go see it anyway, because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Oh, we'll go see all this stuff.
Believing that it's going to be all right, the optimist in me is like, don't worry.
Are you going to go watch Bond? The new Bond, it's 30th of September, and it's out. When's that? Next week?
I can wait for Bond, to be honest. I've been waiting 3 or 4 years or whatever it is now.
Next week on Thursday.
You're a massive Bond head, though, aren't you?
You're a huge
I'll watch it. It's been a while and it coming out, but we'll see what it's like. It was the last one as well.
Actually gonna write him off this time, because I've heard it's his last one and it's all confirmed that it's his last one. But he said that like 2 times.
Yeah.
So I will see it, and I am interested in it, and I'm always hopeful that a Bond movie will be real good. But I'm not probably not going to go pictures for that.
Gender swapping Flight of the Navigator, yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah, turn that ship into a lady ship.
Yeah. I always wanted, when I used to watch Flight of the Navigator, he had that little pet, didn't you remember? That little dude.
Yeah.
I always wanted one of them. I was I want a companion like that.
I liked the bit where he gets put in the hospital and they give him a load of toys, and you can almost, when I was a kid, you could almost see what toys he had in the boxes, and they were all like Transformers and stuff. I just paused the movie. What's he got? He's just got given a load of free toys. God,
was it Sarah Jessica Parker in it as well?
It was,
I think, she was the nurse in the film.
When she was young and full of hope,
Yeah.
It's
Big team also off to see Bond.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take my dad to see Bond for his birthday. He enjoys a Bond.
I still haven't got it into my head really that the world's reopened and we can do stuff again. It's taken me a little while to catch up. I'm not sure.
Well, you do it while you can before Boris steps in again and goes, everything's closing.
I don't think he's going to close stuff this time.
Well, nobody will.
Sorry, things have got really shit again. Deal with it.
Nobody will do it. Well, anyway, we'll leave it if he says, no, we've had enough, Boris.
This is England, mate. You can't tell me to look after myself.
Is that Ray Winston? Ray Winston's back. We need a Ray Winston photo.
No, ladies can't tell us what to do. Cunts.
Oi, language.
Sorry.
Got Stanley with us.
It's not me, it's Ray.
Hey, Spidey fans, what's that language, youngsters? Excelsior!
Yeah, you got told.
Told you.
Yeah.
It's my own show.
Can you apologise to Stanley, please?
Don't mess with Stan.
Sorry, Stan. I should have made up one of them lovely. What does he make up? I don't know.
Comic book characters?
Yeah, but they've always got alliterations, haven't they?
Oh.
Like, I don't know. Anyway,
like
no
Walter
more C
Webb.
words. No more C bombs.
Walter Webb, nice.
He always did his double things, didn't he? Like Peter Parker.
Yeah, alliterations.
Reed Richards.
Yeah.
The reason I did that was so you could remember the names. I had trouble remembering the names, so I used to do it so you could. See.
Do you know what I really love? It's so spooky, Chris, that you duck behind him.
I'm
It's
just
really spooky.
leaning. Just leaning. Right then, so that's the news for this week. I've brought a section for you to have a bit of fun with. It's basically, I went through and looked for the most dangerous children's toys I could find. So I've got a top 10 of them. I'm going to do it in reverse order. I'm going to start number 10. I've got an image for each one, and I've got a little description. So number 10, you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Number 10 is Snack Time Cabbage Patch Doll. Now, can you guess why this was so dangerous?
Is that a cig?
It's like a chip.
Were children choking on the bits of food?
It's a good answer. It's a good idea, but
were people playing with the Cabbage Patch doll and then finding their younger sibling and ramming carrot sticks down its pog on?
Basically, right, kids were getting the fingers bitten because of the mechanism inside the mouth. It actually chews stuff down.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
like
terrifying.
lingless children.
Yeah,
They knew. They got that one. Some angry toy maker got that one past the Cabbage. But you just took my last idea were brilliant, and you didn't take me up on it. So he got that one past them. And a little note to them. There's a chomping machine, perfect for little kids' fingers.
Yeah, chomp them off. Number 9, we've got. This is still available. It's a slip and slide. Apparently,
kids must have ended up in orbit with this. Surely.
Yeah.
There are kids in space right now.
Yeah, just kids like whamming into walls and stuff. It's like they just keep going. Yeah. So I looked at a few different places to get all these. I picked the ones that I thought did the most damage, really. So it's going in worse order. It should be.
Yeah, but them slip and slides, right? What they don't tell you is make sure you go through your entire garden where you plan to lie it out. Get rid of any rocks,
rakes,
bricks, everything, broken glass. Because you go down and you're like,
broken glass.
Oops.
An upended lawnmower, right at the end of it. Might want to move that.
Syringes sticking out of you.
Yeah. Number 8, what have I got here? It's something called Sky Dancers. Right, looks harmless, doesn't it?
Right, yeah.
Looks harmless, but what you did with this...
tell me it was decapitating people, surely.
Probably. What you did, you pulled the ripcord and it wound it round and fired it off, and it was just like smacking kids in the face and, decapitating them, basically.
Well, they gotta learn.
Look at a sinister face as well. Can you see the face on it? It looks like...
I'm gonna knock your eye out, kid.
Yeah, it's possessed, isn't it?
Harley Quinn. Yeah. So that's that one. What we got next? We got Rollerblading Barbie, which at first glance you think, what's wrong with that? So can you
Yeah.
guess what's wrong with this one? Have a think about this one.
Was it too? Did parents have a problem with it turning kids gay or something? I don't know.
Look at the tan on him.
Oh.
Look at the tan.
Something like that.
The tan, that's it. It's a tan. It's a
It's a
tan
tan
thing.
with-
We're teaching kids that it's
It's a
all right
tan.
to go in the sun with no
No,
cream.
no. It's actually worse than all that, what you just said. It's basically, there's a mechanism on the bottom of the roller boots, right? Like a cigarette lighter to get the boots sparking.
No.
It was setting stuff on
It's
fire.
like setting fires left, right,
Yeah.
and centre.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
who
I
comes
don't
up
know
with
if
this?
We should remove all those off the shelves, though. That's just teaching kids how
Dangers.
to deal with fire.
And
You're
if
right.
you were stuck in the woods with your roller skate Barbie, you can make a
Yeah.
fire, can't you?
Who's
Yeah.
laughing now?
What we got next? Number 6, lawn darts. You must have heard of these before.
Oh,
I
mate.
mean, surely
What could
this is.
possibly go wrong with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So loads of reports, kids getting them stuck in their heads.
I mean,
Oh
it
my
should
God.
just that the box for that toy should just be some old man's foot with a dart through it. Like, that's the box. That's what's going to happen.
Just got a big
Get
team
out
out
of the
there.
way, kid.
It does, actually, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, it does.
Get up and fight, you son of a bitch.
We got number 5, hoverboards.
These are relatively new as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
I-
burst into
this-
flames every 5 minutes. So it's basically just get
Burst
overheated.
into flames. I
Yeah.
just assumed it was a life-changing injuries you got trying to use one.
No, overheat, blow up, basically.
And also kill people that don't know how to use them, like
Yeah.
by falling off and smashing your face. It's
Taking
like a
them to
Segway.
traffic.
If a Segway is not dangerous enough for you, get one
Yeah.
of them. But
Yeah.
occasionally you still see one going down the street and with somebody who knows exactly how to use it. Like that toy should only be sold to people that get it. They just get. I know. I'm all right with this. Don't worry about it. If it sets on fire, that's fine. I'll put it out. Don't worry about it. You just don't. Because I still see people on them.
We've got, yeah. You're right though. Some people do know how to control them, don't they? They're like, I'll use my phone while I'm on it. Look at me.
Yeah, deliver a pizza or the run like that.
Yeah. Number 4, we've got easy bake oven.
I
Now,
mean, surely this is just burns, surely.
I
Yeah.
don't think. Is that the reason? Because I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason is the light in this oven wasn't powerful enough to cook anything. It was just giving kids permanent diarrhea.
Salmonella.
it was the burns. It was
E.
apparently
coli.
burning kids, left, right, and centre.
I think I
Burning them
prefer
all.
Oh,
the
do you remember
E. coli
that kid?
idea.
We used to have a version of that in England when I was a kid, and the kid on the advert used to be cutting up a Swiss roll in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
And I put it on a plate with a bit of beans, and it says, "You better hurry up. He'll be waking up in a minute." And you think to yourself, "Not if that's his breakfast. He's going to stay in bed." Sure.
I know what it was. It was
It's
a la
yours.
carte kitchen. That
A
it
la
wasn't an
carte
easy
kitchen,
bake
yeah.
oven. And I remember the advert, and she used to say, "Wake up, Daddy, breakfast ready." And it was like you say, it were a Swiss roll on some half a bit. It was like awful. And it's like, who has that for breakfast? And then what they cut out was the bit where he went, "Hook off! I'm having a lie in."
Yeah.
Smacked it out of her hand. It just went everywhere. That should have been the end of the advert.
Oh no! The end of that advert is the twist of that advert. Is she's actually taking it in and is sitting on the bog having a cigarette. That's how I think the advert should be. Oh, sweet. Swiss
already
roll and beans again. Breakfast.
Oh dear, Swiss roll.
Had you adopted?
I mean, I wonder where they live to have Swiss roll and beans for breakfast. Where would that be?
Switzerland.
Be European, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Wait, so-
Do they have beans in Switzerland?
Swiss Alps, yeah.
Oh,
We can
mate.
find their breakfast ready. Right, what we got next? Number 3. Barbie again.
Another Barbie.
Another Barbie. This is Barbie and Tanner. Tanner's
It's
the
the
dog.
It's the dog's rabid, isn't it? The dog's got rabies.
Yeah, it's actually. Can you guess what is wrong with this one?
It's a homeless Barbie.
It's what?
It's a homeless Barbie, and the dog's
No.
begging.
No.
Well, she's sitting on the floor like a loony. I thought she was homeless.
That's just for display purposes, surely.
That's what you think.
Right, so can you see the dog's bowl there, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Apparently this dog eats and poos, right? And that was bad enough. You know, they said it was disgusting. But apparently the little bits of food are magnetised and kids were swallowing them and they were sticking together and choking them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Lethal.
setting off like
I'm telling you,
Setting off, like,
Barbie's getting
airport
more and more
alarms and
sinister.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
lethal.
Airport alarms.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Next
that's the
one.
first thing you want after 5 minutes of playing with that toy, you're gonna try the dog food.
You're gonna eat
And
it.
after
Yeah.
10 minutes, you're gonna try a little bit of the dog shit.
Yeah.
It's just
Which
gonna
is the same thing because it's going out of its
same
rear
thing,
end. Yeah.
It don't process it then. It don't actually turn it into real poo.
It just. I think back looking at it, just you squeeze it through. I guess, don't you? Oh no, it wouldn't do that. I don't know how it
It
works.
looks to me like you just
That's what it
force
says.
the dog's mouth open, like that Cabbage Patch doll. You force feed
Yeah.
the dog until it just rolls out of it in the back
Pull
end.
its tail up. We got these next Aqua Dots. So basically, these are toxic. Basically,
Oh, great.
yeah, toxic dots that kids were just jumping down on, and they all stick together as well. When they get wet, they stick together, the dots. So you can imagine putting them in your mouth.
Even more toxic.
Yeah.
Okay. Toxadots. What should I call them?
I'm amazed kids don't have like X-Man powers with half of these things.
Yeah.
Swallowing these, surely.
We've got Bulletproof Blouse joined us. Hello. Get yourself the new Barbie and Lethal playset. Yeah. That's what these are. Toy Dog's poop was plutonium. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because number one on this list is, let me read it out properly, Radioactive Atomic Energy Lab from 1950.
Jeez. Now, this is the era that I thought most of these toys were going to be from. Yeah. But they're
came with radioactive counter, and uranium bearing ores. So you could actually do some serious damage.
How are we still alive?
Oh my god, yeah, man. To test the toy like this must take hundreds of years. Because is the radiation going to get worse over years? Is it going to deplete? What's going to happen? Yeah, you can't just go, there you go, toys made, put it on the shelf, figure it out later. Because somebody's probably still got that in their office, in the attic upstairs, and not realised that.
And it's just glowing.
Yeah, and they're like,
why do my teeth keep falling out?
3 eyes.
Yeah. They use it as a loft light, don't they? They go up there and went, bulb went years ago, but this is really powerful.
Yeah, it's a weird green glow in my attic. Ghost.
But as we learn from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, just get in a fridge.
Yeah.
Get in a fridge.
You'll be fine. Right, so that's it for the dangerous toys.
The next toy they released.
fridge playset.
Keep your home atomic energy set if you buy the lead line fridge set that comes out.
That's how you get repeat custom. You're right, Webb. Yeah.
They don't think.
Yeah, they don't think you're right. Mattel's fridge.
You, did they? They didn't ask you.
No.
Oh well, yeah. To be fair, I want alive. I was too busy being unborn.
Yeah.
Oh, busy.
Yeah, but
right.
That was really good, man. I mean, crazy shit. I'm guessing most of the people that design those toys don't have kids.
And have now been executed.
No, I'm just going to say.
They do, and they just really hated them.
Yeah, if they did have kids.
Don't have kids anymore.
Yeah, if they did, they'd have made the toys a lot worse. Just play with it.
Oh, we've got a special guest. Hang on, stop everything. We've got a comment from a special guest.
What?
Stop the presses.
I've heard of this guy before.
Whoa.
Here he is. Mate of mine and her brother are the darts.
Oh, shut up. There is no way.
Oh no, Nat, I should have checked this. Sorry. Nat's got a bit of an eye phobia, hasn't you?
A what?
Nat's got an eye phobia.
Don't do eyes.
Eye phobia.
It's called Oculus Repulsivo. I mean, he answered that.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, mate.
Don't look sarcastic, that comment. Can't tell.
It sounded sarcastic when I said it. I didn't mean it. I'm all over the place, guys.
Oh, get your act together, Webby.
Come on, Webb. Come on, Webb. Sort it out.
Right, let's focus. We can do this.
Right, we've done the toy bit. What's next on the agenda? Well,
actually, when we were talking last week, one of the subjects I wanted to bring to the show, I'm going to bring it tonight because I know that Gittins isn't particularly interested in it. I want to talk about, I'm not sure what your feelings are about it, Nat, but I keep getting my hopes up that whatever the next Muppet project might be good. You know, whatever it is they've got planned next, that it might be good. It just might be good. And it's taken me about 30 years to realise the Muppets are dead. and they're not really coming back.
Oh,
Apart from the two movies, which I quite liked, the Muppets and the Muppets. What's it called? Most Wanted.
Yeah.
I quite liked them. I thought they were the closest we've come to something Muppety for quite.
Well,
a long time.
I've got some images for you. There you go. That one.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I mean, it was problematic for
one.
me. It was all right. This one was great.
Well, I
mean, in that one.
I thought this one was too focused on what's he called, Jason Segel.
On the new one.
No. I thought the human characters were too front and center in this, right? Whereas the Muppets have always worked best, I think, when it's about them, and the humans are side characters, and that's why I like this one better.
Yeah.
I like that one better.
I mean, the saving grace of both those films are the songs.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're really great. They're a cross between Flight of the Conchords, because one of the Flight of the Conchords wrote them, but they're also really Muppety too. They've got that sort of sensibility.
Particularly the Most Wanted songs. I
Brett McKenzie in it.
Oh, yeah.
Is Brett McKenzie in it?
Yeah. He won an Oscar for the first movie, didn't he? For the songs.
Yeah, he did. Because there was that famous interview where the guy went, how's it going when you're not singing with Flight of Conchords? And he got his Oscar and went, pretty good.
And I've seen another interview where they're together and they've been questioned about it, and it's like, it's when they did a charity song in New Zealand. I don't know if you've seen this, Nat, but it's called Feel Inside.
No.
And they went round to a bunch of schools and talked to a bunch of kids, and then they wrote a song with exactly what the kids had said. It's brilliant. It's funny
really
as balls. But there's a bit in it where they're talking about the Muppets. One of the kids mentions Miss Piggy and diamonds and stuff, and Brett's ears prick up and he's like, oh yeah, what do you think of that film? What do you think of the film? And the kid's like, oh, I loved it. Miss Piggy's brilliant, isn't she? And then Jermaine's going, it was a bit derivative though, wasn't it, the film? It's really funny. They clearly, they get each other. It's brilliant. You'll have to watch it. It's about 15 minutes long because you've got all the interviews with the kids making the Flight of the Conchords laugh. And then they put everything into the song. And it's really
good in it. It's really fun.
Really cool.
Really, really funny. It's one of the best comic reliefy type videos I've seen. It's great.
Give it a go.
We'll be a little sexy tonight.
So apart from that, I thought they were kind of like...
Get a room, Rich. Webbs, come on.
I just thought they were more in the vein or the spirit of... Okay, so going back to the death of the Muppets. When a guy like Frank Oz, who is Jim Henson's second in command, when he can't be bothered with the Muppets anymore because they've gone too far off the track from where Jim Henson intended them to be. They were never supposed to do certain things. They're never supposed to be crude. They don't swear. They're meant for everybody. It's a universal appeal. So the last thing I saw recently, Frank Oz has done a load more interviews, but when the Muppets film came out, I saw this thing with him saying, there's a bit where Fozzie Bear is desperate to come up with a joke for the show, and he goes, what about this? Fart shoes, and he's got these shoes on, and they're going, and Frank Oz is like, this sounds ridiculous, but that just would never happen in the world of the Muppets. Even that is too far out of what we're expecting. So he's just totally lost it with him. I read an interview with him a couple of weeks ago in The Guardian that my brother told me about, and it was really sweet. And he said, I still miss the Muppets. I love the Muppets. He said, to be fair, Disney haven't asked me. They just haven't asked me to do it for years and years and years. I wouldn't if they did, but they haven't asked me, for the record. And just to watch something he loved so much get disseminated by Disney. Disney get these properties they think they want, and then they don't know what to do with them. They scrabble around.
It's really odd, isn't it?
Like the Concords in. Get this guy who's had the last... what's the lady who had the last Wonder Woman movie? Patty Jenkins. Oh, she had a successful movie. Give her a whole Star Wars movie. And
well, do you know what?
Later, when the fallout comes in from Wonder Woman 84 and people are saying it was a turd film, they realise they've now got to get a new director.
Well, the thing is about Wonder Woman, the first film, she just directed it. She didn't write it. And when that were a success, they went, give her all of it to do. So she wrote it and directed the second one. It just, we know about it. But yeah, you're right. They take this stuff and they don't know what to do. It's as if they eliminate...
Yeah.
They eliminate the old guard from it all. They go, instead of going, these guys have got ideas and they work with Jim Henson, You know, Frank Oz and Jim Henson were like a double act, weren't they? If you're going to do a Muppets thing, you ask Frank Oz or his son. His son must still be alive, Brian Henson.
Brian Henson is, yeah.
Get them. Why are they not involved? It's like keep them involved. It's so odd. It's like
know.
the whole thing with George Lucas and Star Wars as well. You know, he had them scripts
that's why
ready.
I wanted to bring this to the table, because it's not just that. It's the reason Marvel has dodged this bullet is because they have such a history of rich wealth of storylines to dip into and characters to dip into that are beloved. And those movies, they're kind of a cheat because they're really easy to watch. And I think they're really easy to write and make work if you stick to the formula they've got. They just don't know how to do it with anything else. But yet they keep buying this shit. They keep buying it. How much money is enough for Disney to just, you know? I'm surprised they haven't attempted to buy Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers stuff.
They'll come to it, won't they? I mean, you know, I think Warner's is all DC and everything in it. So if they bought that really would be everything they own. You know, there's not much left. They bought Fox, didn't they? They've got all that now. So
all right, but if Disney are watching, right, what are we going to do to instruct them on how to fix this? What would we do to save the Muppets? Is my question to you. What would you do?
I'd ring Brian Henson and Frank Oz. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Dave Goes is still alive. I'd get proper original Gonzo.
And I'd go back to what they did best, where they got a property and Muppeted it, if you know what I mean. Christmas Carol, Treasure Island, all the, do a. I don't know what they haven't done. I don't know.
Robin, but you're already in controversial waters there because they're post Jim Henson, and those are not considered in the canon of what people consider to be decent Muppet stuff.
Oh, but Christmas Carol is. Christmas Carol is.
Come on, a Christmas Carol is absolutely brilliant.
But it was directed by Brian Henson as well, wasn't it? And Frank Oz was involved and all that. So
and I think that's the last time he did Miss Piggy's and Fozzie.
Right. Yeah.
I think. But also, Brian Henson took the role of Kermit for that, and I don't think he's done it since because he just found it. He was good at it, but he just found it too hard. Go to work every day and do an impression of your dad. I mean, that must melt your brain a bit. I'd do what they tried with the Muppets tonight, but I'd do it right. I'd just set it back in a theatre, and I'd make it about them trying to put on a show every week. I'd make it a bit like Saturday Night, a bit like the original Muppet Show. But I think what they're missing is all you need is a Muppet and a pop song. That's all they need. A song that's in the charts, a song that's 20 years old. They've got a wealth of songs they could pick for. There's all sorts of stuff. You can imagine, I don't know, Muppets doing Uptown Funk or something in the Muppet Show. You'd totally buy into it with Kermit hosting it. Didn't need to change that drastically. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I just think it's. I don't want to say goodbye to the Muppets, man.
Big team on. Make your own Muppet style movie short. Do it with socks, puppets, and stuff. It's all geek to me. Christmas special. Put money where his mouth is. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm talented enough to do that, but I think that, I'd really like to see the Muppets find an audience again that makes sense. They've tried so many things with it, and nothing seems to hit home but I think the biggest problem is they won't commit to it. You're not getting a third Muppets movie because it didn't do exactly what they thought it was. They've got no patience. Wait and see. Like we've all just said, that's the better of the two movies. But I bet Disney don't realise that. I bet they don't.
You know what I find really odd about it? They changed the title of the film right at the end. It was going to be called Muppets again, wasn't it? Because the song at the start says that. And then they changed it at the last minute. You think, what? Why would you do that? It's very strange to suddenly go, no, some arsehole from marketing probably came in and went, you know what? The demographic will like it if it's called Muppets Most Wanted. And
We've done some research. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the problem is.
I think they've just probably got groups. They've just got big groups of young, hip people who think they've got all the right ideas, don't they? And they're probably all riding high off of the Marvel success. And I think they think. I mean, if you think about it, if you gave somebody who was 25 the Muppet Show from the 70s, what would you do with that? Like, as a 25-year-old, how would you make that relevant? So maybe they need to stop asking so many younger people to do it. Maybe it's because they're giving it to young hip people who they think will be able to bring it up into the. Maybe it has finished. Maybe there's no way to take the formula
if you can't get it right, stop trying.
Yeah,
I think that's why Sesame Street still works, isn't it? Because it's a kid. It's primarily always been a kids show, you know, an early learning kids show, and they've kept that format.
Different kettle of fish, innit? For me, right, what's weird about the situation is the Muppet Show, when you look at what it did, is actually a really progressive show for its time, right? The only person that really causes any violence in it is the lead woman, Miss Piggy, who's a bit of an arsehole sometimes, you know. Everybody loves each other. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, straight, doesn't matter whether you're a giant Muppet or a little Muppet, it doesn't matter what colour your fur is, doesn't matter. And I think that's way ahead of its time. And if they just went back to that and remember that it's about people being entertained, then all they have to do is sing and dance for you and tell a couple of bad jokes. The jokes are deliberately bad in that show for a reason. They didn't want to cause any offence to anyone, did they? So they just make some really, really shocking jokes.
Yeah.
I guess as well, if you were a 25-year-old approaching that, you'd look at the puppets and you'd look at how it was made and think, how can I make that look? You know, they always change animation. They've done it with Scooby-Doo. Don't get me started. And we all love the Scooby-Doo that we grew up with. And it's a completely different style now. So
how can we modernise it? How can we get some CGI?
So
and once you, like, I think Frank Oz has got this problem with that. It's like once you give a Muppet legs, it's not a Muppet anymore. It's a special effect. You know what I mean? So it's an odd one. It's quite sad, and I don't think I'm ready to just give up yet. But I'm hoping they can do something with it. But I don't think they have to try as hard as they try it. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to. They're overthinking it, is what I'm saying.
If you picked a film though, if you took a classic film that you could make into one, what would you pick? You know, like we just said there. You know, if you pick, like you know, you've got images here. You've got your Treasure Island. I
love a Treasure Island.
Muppet Christmas Carol. You know,
Treasure Island is an unsung hero for me. It's got some cracking songs in it. That one.
100% cracking songs. And Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, brilliant. Yeah. But what would you? If you could pick someone, what would you do?
Alien. I do Alien. I don't know why. I just do it. I'd have a go at Alien. When Miss Piggy Sigourney Weaver on a ship with an alien, and the aliens at the end turns out to be something daft, like a beaker or something. It's actually a beaker, you know. But there's just 7 Muppets on this ship, and I don't know. But a lot of them work. That just work. Like that's your idea. All you have to do is flesh it out a bit. Add a couple of jokes. You could even do it 5 minutes long. But this stuff they're doing on YouTube is horrendous, man. It's horrendous. There's no soul to it whatsoever. It's all green screen. There's too much CGI involved, and I don't just want to see them do Bohemian Rhapsody or something. You know what I mean?
I think you're right. I think it's kind of being given to the just people who don't know what the kind of core of it is. You know,
I don't think it matters with everything, but when your property predicates itself around having a soul, which is that's what it is, the soul of the Muppets. You know what I mean? That's why some people get it and some people don't. It's an ethos. It's just the way people are. And when you sell your soul, you know, people argue all the time that that's what killed Jim Henson. Was made that deal and then he got really poorly.
I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head, though, haven't you? Like, if you think about how it's made now, it's all one person, 2 people in front of a computer screen. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when it was made originally, people were physically they were physically moving those puppets. They were actually pouring themselves into creating this, and the human guests were having to pretend they weren't somebody just here with a load of wires, and like almost like the integrity of the show was based on the fact that puppeteers were having to create this magic. And now it's one person on a computer. And
do you know what? As well, they had so much fun doing it. You know, you watch any of the behind-the-scenes stuff from all them days, they're having a right laugh and they're bouncing off each other, trying stuff out. You can bet your boots, nobody will do that now when they're making these films. They'll be going, this is the script, there you go, get on your mark, make sure his head moves there and talk. I bet it's like corporate
And
crap.
the stars, the people that worked with them were always in awe of the performance. They were always they don't get enough credit. I remember Billy Connolly when he said, because he's in Muppets Treasure Island, and he said, these guys never stop. He said, you finish filming, you go to your dressing room, you come out and go see somebody, and all of the Muppets are at a dressing room door, all just popping around to see it, and you have a chat and a laugh with them. They're always on, and I just thought, that's so cool, man.
I mean, look at that Muppet movie poster there. Look at the guest stars at the top there.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. All those, isn't it?
I mean, half of them have been dead that long that I've forgotten who they are. But
Steve Martin, Richard Pryor, Orson Welles, Mel Brooks,
Steve Martin, Elliot Gould, Telly Savalas, and there's some cracking jokes in that film. I don't care what you say, they're great. There's some awesome jokes in that film. Really bad, really lovely jokes.
But if you want, I mean, the thing that always gets me with it's when you look at the behind the scenes stuff and that opening shot from the Muppet movie with Kermit on that log, and you know that Jim Henson is under there in a tank. Holding, he'd been in there all day or something. When you see the diagram of it that somebody put out, it's like, that's commitment to these things, and they wouldn't do that now. They wouldn't have they wouldn't have the interest in doing that if they went, right, we're going to put a puppeteer under there for half a day. They go, no, we'll CGI it, or we'll.
And also, when you find your missing other half, like Jim Henson did, like when he found Frank Oz, and they became one of the most formidable comedy duos, Bert and Ernie, Kermit and Fozzie, Piggy and Kermit, and it just works. They are funny as hell. I mean, Lummy, I don't know, you remember the sketch where Fozzie Bear's been practicing being a ventriloquist? And he's got the ventriloquist puppet on the stage. Yeah. And he's been practicing, and he goes out to do his act. And he goes, hey, what's the puppet called? I can't remember what the puppet's called, but he goes, hey, what's it called? Who was that lady I saw you with last night? And the puppet doesn't say anything. And he's just totally mortified. He's like, who was that lady? Who was that lady? Chucky. He's called Chucky. Chucky, who was that lady I saw you with last night? And then Kermit comes along and he whispers in his ear, and you can hear what he's saying. He's saying, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to make it look like the puppet's doing them. And he's like, what? Really? It's just fucking brilliant comedy timing, man. And those Muppet albums as well. There's some really, really awesome jokes on them. Still
got big team. Classic tale I like to see is Muppets Frankenstein, Muppet Sherlock Holmes. Yeah,
they would be good.
Both good suggestions out there. You can do a lot with that straight away.
If you wanted to modernise it, you could do something like Muppets Lost. Like Lost with the Muppets, or Game of Thrones or something. Why not? Like, just
imagine Game of Thrones with the Muppets.
Muppet Sherlock Holmes. That could be. You could have Kermit obviously as Sherlock and Fozzie as Watson straight away, couldn't you?
They balled that up, Lummy. That's not what they do. They didn't do that in any of the other films. They didn't do that. They made Gonzo and Rizzo the leads. It's weird. It's a weird choice. You would end up with Gonzo and Rizzo as Sherlock and Watson, and you'd be like, well, now it's already fucked, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to see Game of Thrones done, and I want Sean Bean to be in it as Sean Bean.
That'd be great. That'd be even better if they actually had the. Oh, mate, that is brilliant. Don't please refuse to sing that. And the whole show, that his version of the Muppet Show, is him trying not to sing and them trying to draw him into singing. To the point where they dress him up like a Spanish flamenco dancer. And he comes out and he goes, Kermit, I'm not going to sing. And all the Muppets start going, he will not sing. He's like, all right, I'm off. It's brilliant. I love that shit.
Yeah. It's so good. There's so many good stuff. But like you said earlier, Muppets Tonight wasn't too bad either, really. I think they had some good stuff on it, a few new characters as well. I like the, what was that guy called, the singer? What was the singer called?
Johnny Fiamma.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny Fiamma. I'm going to see him. Yeah,
there are some good Muppets that came along in the past 30 years, sort of after Jim Henson. One of my favourites has got to be Pepe the King Prawn.
Oh my God, I love Pepe.
Oh, he's so funny.
I love him so much. Funny.
And he gets it. Whoever's performing that one, he gets it. He gets the Muppets. What's become really weird is, though, if they started doing they must have started doing auditions for new puppeteers to come and replace some of the older guys, and they haven't done the research. So Janice, for example, out of the band, sounds nothing like. And it's not even a hard voice. It's that for sure hippie kind of Joni Mitchell style California. and it just balls it up every time. It's not even difficult.
I must say, I know, it's not for us really anymore, is it? But when you hear the Kermit voice, I've got to say, it's not great, is it? When you listen to it, you think, oh.
It sounds Disney-fied.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's weird. Fozzie hasn't sounded like Fozzie for years. I think in the Muppet movie that whoever performed, they were all right in that. But yeah, even Piggy, terribly difficult for people to nail. But then once somebody learns a voice and they think they've got it, they get too much credit for it. They're brilliant. They're not brilliant. It just sounds a little bit like it, I don't know. It's just weird. I guess what I'm saying is, could somebody reanimate Jim Henson's corpse and let's start again?
Well, we're about to talk about Stephen King, so maybe Stephen King can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Take him to the Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, what's your favourite Muppet film then out of all of them?
Treasure Island.
Yeah.
Don't even have to think about it. I love it.
I like Muppet Caper, that one. I think
that's a good one because they're twins in that, and it's just ridiculous.
There isn't a Muppet movie that I dislike, but Treasure Island is a go-to. What about you, Webb?
I'd challenge you on that one, Nat, and I'd say go watch Muppets Wizard of Oz and see what you think.
I forgot about Muppets Wizard of Oz. Nathan, you're right.
Absolute garbage.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it garbage?
Right.
I've not seen it. I've not seen it.
Garbage. It's unwatchable. I mean, Robin might like it.
I'll tell you what is good. This Little Number.
I like that one.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you're getting you get Muppets, you get your Sesame Street characters, you get Fraggle Rock in there. It's a big Muppet spectacular. And the plot is Fozzie goes to see his mum at Christmas with all the Muppets.
You meet Fozzie's mum.
She's going, and she's so sweet, isn't she, Fozzie's mum? She's lovely, bless her. And she's going to go on holiday, but then she stays, and they all have a big family Christmas.
Aww. Oh,
it's awesome. Right. I mean, I like them all. I like the one where they go to London. I like the second. What's the second movie?
Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah, I like that one as well. I think it's great. There's a song in that makes me cry.
Oh, is it Going Away? What's it called?
Yeah, it's where the Muppets, they realise they can't afford to live in New York anymore, so they all split up and they all go away and they're singing this song to each other called Saying Goodbye.
No, they finish college and they go away, don't they?
Yeah, they can't afford to be together anymore. They have to split up until Kermit gets the job. But there's a line in the song, something like, it's so cheesy, but it's something like, saying goodbye, why is it sad that makes us remember the good times we had? You're in my heart, so until then. It's time for...
You've got Chris. You've got
steady, Webb.
Yeah.
Steady.
Yeah, sweet.
Keep it light.
Some of these guys who used to write the Muppets.
Is that a beaker thing, or is it just a troll? I don't know. Meep. That's
one of meeps in your area.
Yeah.
Meet sexy meat.
But Soul Rider 48, welcome aboard anyway.
Hello.
If you're not
it's going to be a troll.
Has anybody in the comments got a favourite Muppet movie? Let us know what it was.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of the Muppets? I don't know.
Can't you guess away down at Fraggle Rock? Down at Fraggle Rock. Random, no brain cells moment.
I love a bit of Fraggle Rock. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, Fraggle Rock.
Some of the spin-off stuff they did. I mean, I still love Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, but mainly just because I'm a fan of cod pieces.
I've seen your cod pieces.
You've
got some great ones. Yeah, you've got great cod pieces.
I saw my baby trying hard as best could try. What's happening in my pants? It's like, what?
It's not a
I'd like to see Jim Henson. Jim Henson would have made a great talking cod piece for David Bowie, I think.
Yeah. Hey, what's it? I used to have a Fraggle. What were he called? Uncle Traveling Matt. Yeah. Dear nephew Gobo.
Weird how this stuff that you haven't seen for 40 years pops back in your head.
Yeah.
But Muppets, going on. Come on, Disney. If you bought it, put your money where your Muppets are.
You buy it, you broke it.
I mean, we'll come and talk to you about it. Just send me and Lummy and Nat. We'll have a first-class ticket each to Hollywood.
Yes.
Here we go. Muppets from space. Yeah. Now, what did you think of this one? We've got the poster there.
It's got a couple of really good lines in it. It's got a couple of really good lines in it, but that's about it. It's a story that tries to explain something that should never have been explained, which is where's Gonzo from? Because the whole point of Gonzo is you don't know what he is, and it doesn't matter.
Soul Rider, love the movie.
Oh, all right.
There's that song in it. What's that song that Gonzo sings? Is it not? That's in another film anyway, isn't it?
It's in the Muppet movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where he's like looking at the sky and wishing he wasn't alone and stuff. Excuse me.
This looks familiar. That's in it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go
Luna liked Muppets in Space, clearly.
Yeah.
You're a fan of that one, yeah? Yeah.
But
yeah,
Pepe the King Prawn has got quite a big role in that one. That's what saves that movie.
Right.
He's brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant in that one. And there's a bit where Kermit have to sneak into a science lab. And he gets on top of Kermit's shoulder and he's got the lab coat on.
Yeah. What's the bear? What's the bear called? What's the bear? That bear called?
Bobo the bear.
I like him. I think he's good.
He's great as well. Yeah, he's one of the good additions. But yeah,
Soap scene was weird.
It is. The whole thing's
soup scene. Sorry. Not soap.
Oh, Cabin Fever. Great
yeah. That's good. Yeah.
I like Cabin Fever, and I like Long John Silver's song in that. I think Tim
Professional Pirate.
Yeah.
When I was just a lad.
This is my only number.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It is good. There's some good songs in that.
Professional pirate, you don't have to wear a suit. It's great, man. Yeah, but I like the one where they all go balmy at sea as well, like Cabin
Fever. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Cool.
I haven't seen that one for years. I have to give it a watch. I always forget Billy Connolly's in it for the first half, and Jennifer Saunders as well.
She is, yeah.
She's awesome. She's battering Muppets all over the place, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the innkeeper, isn't she? Yeah. Love it.
Cool. Oh yeah, I might watch that one again. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, the classic ones. The classic.
Most of them are on Disney Plus now. I don't know where. I don't know if Muppets from Space is on there, but I'd give that another.
Well, one of them belonged to a different company, didn't it? It was the Muppets Take Manhattan was released through a different thing, and it was never on the box sets with the other Muppet films. Different film studio released it. Yeah, that's why it was never on them.
Like a bitch.
There you go.
Hey, anyway, shall we move on?
Let's move on.
I'll just deal with it. I'll just deal with it.
Let's move on, Spidey fans.
Thanks, Stan.
Thank you, man.
Can't control him. At least he came in at the right point then, after a section, not
in the middle of it.
In the middle of it, yeah.
Just burst in.
I thought we were going to say, never mind that Jim Henson fella. When I was writing,
I once had a character called Muppet Man, but Jim sued me. That's why we never got along after that. It's full of facts and stories.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
They're all made up, but don't tell him that.
Great Scott.
Oh yeah,
things are getting heavy. Hang on. We did speak about the Christmas one, yeah.
We did.
Yeah. Classic.
It is wonderful.
Michael Caine is amazing in that. I love it. It's so good.
Oh, please do the song, Chris. Please do the song.
Are you ready? Have we got a picture of Michael Caine? I think we might have. Oh, here we go. With a thankful heart and an endless joy, with a growing family, every girl and boy will be there for you when you meet. When we laugh, hope and peace to me. Yes, and every night will end, and every day will start.
Do the whole song, man.
I won't do the whole thing. Life is like a journey. Who knows when it ends?
Oh man,
we don't know, Michael. When is it? When is it going to end?
Yeah.
And if you need to know the measure of a man,
you simply count his friends.
Stop and look around you. The glory that you see. It's gotta be it. It's born again each day. Don't let it slip away. How precious life can be. He's done. Oh, can Stanley say you're a bum rock?
Yeah.
you're a bum rock. Why that? I don't get.
Oh my lord!
Hey you! You're a bum rock. Oh, I see. It means Rocky manager. Does sound like him.
I see.
Yeah, we got it. We're a bit slow sometimes.
Not a bum rock then.
Yeah, you're a bum rock.
There's
Get
no
up
such
and
thing as a
fight.
bum rock. If we...
Excuse me.
Oh lord! Wow.
All the stars on tonight.
The woman in the bottom is dying. She's got a name, Soul Rider 48. You use it.
Let her out then.
Called Nat.
Soul Rider 48 is dying with joy. Thank you for the suggestion because that made my day. That.
Yeah. So we love. No, Soul Rider. You don't have to
Soul
apologise.
Rider. Soul Rider.
Apologise.
Ignore them, Soul Rider. He does it for attention. I'm absolutely fine.
But the point is, we love Muppets Christmas Carol. Yeah,
we do.
We do.
We do.
We watch it every year,
there you go.
and it never gets old.
Yeah.
Oh.
Soul Rider is fine. I wasn't offended. Chris just did it for attention.
Hey, it's Soul Rider 48. You get his name right. Just spun it round.
Soul Riders can be winning too.
Yeah, Soul Rider. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Soul Rider 48. I missed the 48. I do apologise.
It's all right. Everybody's all right now. Everybody's happy.
Well,
right, are we moving on? What we got next, Webb?
Something serious. No more laughter. Come on. Sort yourself out. Trying to entertain. Excuse me. Well, Nat's here.
Soul Rider.
And then if anybody knows anything about Nat, you know this lady likes some Stephen King.
I love myself some Stephen King.
And I've dabbled. I've kinged. I've kinged it
I
up a bit.
I think you've done more than dabbled, Webby. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I used to be a full-flown King addict, but I've missed the past 10 years or so. I've dipped in and out and caught a couple here and there, but
yeah.
It's only
And for that, you will be horribly murdered by a supernatural being from Stephen King. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's only because what I want now is somebody to guarantee me that I'm going to enjoy the book. Because I've read too much Stephen King to the point where I don't enjoy all of them. You know what I mean?
His writing has changed a lot since, well, you know, like he went through like the off his tits on drugs and alcohol phase, and then he was like sober. I think since he has recovered from the accident, his writing's changed, and in particular the last 5 years, really, really, really well written pieces of work. Yeah. Outsider, Mr. Mercedes, Institute. A red balloon is a tyrant. You're right.
Yeah,
completely agree. I've got a massively unhealthy obsession with Pennywise. Still want to see a backstory about him. Still want to know about this character more and more.
I like that. I've got to say, I like that novel cover. I like that.
I've got that cover. My version of the book's that very same one.
Oh, amazing!
It's quite old now.
What did you think? Did you like the new versions of it? The film.
I personally did. Yeah, I really liked them both.
The thing is, it's such a good story that even if you've got half of it right, it should still be a good movie. People struggle with the ending of chapter 2, but it's the closest incarnation to the book that I've ever seen on the screen, and the book ending is famously wacky. So that was always my problem with how they're going to convey that on the screen. And they had a really good go at it, explaining the turtle and the what's the other thing? Bad thing? It.
Yeah, and the deadlights.
But I mean, there's things. Yeah. In the book, it ends with the town being completely swallowed by a flood.
And I think when Stephen King talks about it, he was so off his face for so much of that he can't actually remember writing chunks of it. So I think you've got to appreciate, like, when you approach that book, it's a lot of it is just a massive trip.
In mind, though, man, it blows my mind that even when you're off your face on drink and drugs, you can write some of that good.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't have done it and then just handed it in. He'll have done it, won't he? And then gone, I'll reshape it, unless he just give it to his typist or whatever.
When he was reshaping it, he was still high and he was still drunk. Right. So he never really saw. I mean, his wife was sober, and I think she saw. And I mean, it was famously his wife who's responsible for him being a famous author, because he wrote Carrie and he sent it to something like 9 or 10 different publishers. It kept getting rejected. He got
was that his first book?
Yeah, Carrie's his first book.
First novel, yeah.
Right.
He got really, really angry and he threw it in the bin. And she fished it back out and said, "I think you should try one more time." And he did, and they picked it up, and it went from there. So if it wasn't for Tabitha, he would never. Nobody really knows whether he would have been as successful as he is. But he's had a bit of a renaissance, hasn't he? Because he had all those stories that you could buy for £1. All these terrible movies came out, and they were awful. And then somebody like Frank Darabont.
I think that's about the time when people started to go, holy shit, Shawshank, Stephen King.
Redemption.
Oh my God, Green Mile, Stephen King. Misery, Stephen King.
Yeah.
Pet
Sematary, Doctor Sleep. Before that, it had been The Shining, which had been good, which Stephen King hated.
Yeah.
Carrie, which had been good. And there was another one. I can't remember it now. Cujo.
Cujo, Firestarter, The Dead Zone. They did all these late 70s, early 80s. There were tons of them.
Pet Sematary on it as well.
Pet Sematary,
the thing is,
with Salem's Lot.
I don't know what it is about people directing Stephen King stuff, but they always seem to fudge the ending. The ending of the books are great, but when you watch them on the films, they never seem to have that same emotional punch or the same. They miss to skip a bit of the details. The one thing I think Stephen King is guilty of is overestimating how much of the world gives a shit about a male white writer as a character. Because that is in nearly every book. And fair enough, that's his shtick. That's what he is. Write what you know, yeah? But I was watching one the other day, Lizzie's Story, the new one on Apple TV. I gave that a go. And I tried The Stand as well, after your recommendation, Nat.
What did you think?
Well, Lizzie's Story, I'm still ongoing with, but it is very much about a wacky writer, and it sticks to the book. But The Stand, I was conflicted with because they almost got some of it right, and they cast it really well, but then they just forgot to direct the actors. They just forgot to direct. Like, even people can act for a fact could not act in that thing. It was weird. I didn't get on with it. I don't know if they're going to do another series or where it's going with it. There were bits I really liked. I didn't mind
another series.
I didn't mind the modernisation of it. Because when I read it, it was all set in the early 80s, so there was no mobile phones and no. I didn't mind the way they'd set it in the modern era.
We've got
liked about it.
Film from Book Syndrome. It's annoying. Books edited just because of director's choice.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, we've got a question here, a bit off topic, but thoughts on the Harry Potter movie? I guess with the book as well. You've talked about Harry Potter.
48, I don't think you've seen much of our old stuff, but if you go back through our back catalogue, we've got some Harry Potter episodes. We're sort of in the middle of talking about them. I think we're up to, where are we up to, number 5?
We've got to the last couple of films, and then we were going to talk about the stage play, weren't we? But we've definitely done 1 to 5 or 1 to 6.
Yeah, and the Fantastic Beasts as well.
Yeah.
So we are talking about them, but if you go back through our back catalogue a bit, Soul Rider 48, you'll find the one. But I think the consensus of the opinion, from what I remember about talking about the first movie, is the book's better. The first movie is it's a gateway movie, isn't it? Just letting you feel things out, letting people experiment, letting actors, see if things stick.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah, we're up from 1 to 5. Yeah. It's.
I think every now and then that you'd get like a brilliant, like a lovely piece of one of his filmmaking. Couldn't think of the word filmmaking. Like Stand By Me, for instance, which created an absolutely iconic moment and made the stars in it super, super famous. But I don't think until Frank Darabont came along, anyone really understood how to direct and adapt Stephen King for the screen.
And the best people that did the best versions of it are the people that stuck to the page. People like the Green Mile is great, because if you read the Green Mile and then watch the Green Mile, the only difference is there's a little bit more stuff in the Green Mile. It's almost directly transposed from it. Same with Misery. Yeah. Misery's a great film, and that predates the Shawshank Revolution as well, doesn't it? By a few years, and won an Oscar, and it's still a great story, even though it made some fundamental changes to the book. Because in the book, he saws her feet. She saws his feet off.
She chops his foot off, doesn't she? Yeah. She
is I think it's Rob Reiner who did both that and Stand By Me, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So again, director, you know.
Yeah. Oscar-worthy director there, obviously.
I think.
So yeah, it depends who gets their hands on it. The mucky little grubby hands on it.
Yeah, and how brave they are about getting. Like you say, how brave are they? Are they brave enough to put everything in? Because let's be honest, The Green Mile, I remember reading for the first time and sobbing at least 3 times during reading it. But as for a director to approach that and think, how am I going to cast and create this? Essentially, it's just a Jesus story, isn't it? Essentially,
you try and take it back, but you couldn't.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
don't know, man. I mean, for me, if the quality of writing's good, the one enigma for me in the whole Stephen King back catalogue is to consider yourself a true Stephen King fan.
Consider yourself part of the family. Sorry, I'll show you.
Winston's back. To consider yourself a Stephen King fan, it's kind of sacrilege to say that you prefer the Shining movie, the Stanley Kubrick version, to the book. But I do, hands down do. I don't rate Stanley Kubrick massively. I just love that film. It works for me. Whatever he's changed for whatever reason. It seems like he read the book and he thought, well, I like the bit about the guy going mad, but the rest of it's shit. I'm just going to do what I want. I understand why Stephen King's got a problem with it, but where Stephen King falls down is there is no comparable, decent version of his book to watch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they've serialised it again, haven't they?
Yeah, in his book, as brilliant as it is, it's really scary. But there's hedges, topiary that come to life and chase people across the garden. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? So how do you you can see Stanley Kubrick going, blood coming out of a lift, topiary coming alive. I think I know what I'm going to go for. Spooky twins every time, isn't it? It's a great movie.
It'd be interesting to try to do it again, The Shining, wouldn't it, now? You know.
Well, they made it for TV not so long ago, didn't they? Yeah. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched that version. I liked that Dr. Sleep had some nods to maybe what The Shining would like to have been. Because I think that they did Dr. Sleep absolutely brilliantly. I thought the book was great on the movie.
And I think that one of the major differences as well is nobody makes a movie like Kubrick anymore because they're not allowed to deliberately make people go crazy just to make a fucking film anymore. And that's what he did to Shelley Duvall.
Oh my God, he tortured her.
He tortured her. He made her do it and do it again. 65 takes of the same thing, of her being chased up the stairs by Jack Nicholson. Even Jack Nicholson's going, "Are you all right, love?" Because this is fucking crazy. So
and then, if that wasn't bad enough, she read Popeye. Bless her.
She just wanted a break. So I'll take anything else if Stanley Kubrick's not involved. He's a fucking meanie.
I mean, he was horrible to Jack Nicholson, but he was way worse to Shelley Duvall, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Apparently, Jack Nicholson hated cheese sandwiches, and he just had them on set all the time.
Yeah. She made him. He made her go crazy. He pushed her to the edge, and she never came back. She retired from Hollywood. She lives in a fucking van in the middle of Texas now. I'm not even kidding. I read this article with some guy, some journalist that went to interview her recently, and she's got mental health issues. She just doesn't want anything to do with Hollywood anymore, and she'll tell the truth about it. Yeah, it was just too much, and you won't get away with that now. Not for a paltry reason like making good art. You know what I mean? You need a better excuse to torture people. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's a bit of an anomaly as The Shining. I would want to know, Nat, is there a book that you can think of that they haven't made yet that you want to see?
That I absolutely love. This is really tricky because anyone who's watched me on this programme before knows I go on and on about The Long Walk. So it would have been that because it is, in my opinion, it's a very long walk. It's so good. But it is, they're making it, I believe, that it's like it's on its way to being made, so I can't really use that anymore. And that was always my go-to. Another one they don't talk about much is Apt Pupil as well, which had Ian McKellen in.
Yes.
Which is terrifying, and it's not supernatural at all.
Have you seen that one, Lummy? The kid in the neighbourhood that figures out the old man living next door is an old Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Seen it once, but yeah. I just remember I was just looking then, I've got these novel covers that I won't put up, but you've been talking about them all. Sorry.
Yeah, the stand won't really. Yeah, not my. It's not
the book.
quite there yet. Have you read Black House? Sequel to The Talisman.
I haven't read Black House. Have you?
It's a sequel. It's brilliant.
So did he co-author them with somebody? Is that the idea?
Yeah, occasionally just decide to write. He's wrote another book with his son, which is absolutely massive. Apparently, is it
Sleeping Beauties.
Have you read that one?
Do you know what? I enjoyed it. I know it divided Stephen King fans, but I enjoyed it, and quite similar to flipping love that book, quite similar to it's so good. Quite similar to the series that you were talking about, where all the men have disappeared. In Sleeping Beauties, this lady appears in the middle of this town, like supernatural powers, and the minute she appears, women all around the world, when they fall asleep, they just don't wake up, and they end up sort of covered with cocoons, and it's a world without women essentially. But women do wake up, but they wake up in a different place, and they create a society, and then it's all about the men trying to get them back, and the women ultimately making the decision whether they want to do that. I enjoyed it, but I know it divided some King fans. I liked The Institute more, which I thought was bloody brilliant.
Okay, I might have to dip into a couple. The last one I read that's a newish one was Due McKee, which I really enjoyed.
Due McKee,
it's a good ghost story, man. You know, back to Stephen King, back to being a horror writer, but
I kind of like to see that one as a film.
Stuff, man. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. I can almost see it as a short TV series or something like Mr. Mercedes. I watched that, and if it wasn't for what's he called, Brendan Gleeson in it, I think it would have been shite. But he was great. I better ask Lummy a question. Lummy, what's your favourite?
We're just reading a Stephen King. Gremlins.
Ooh.
If only they'd make a movie of it.
I know, right?
What's your Stephen King knowledge like then, Lummy? What have
not great. That's why I've been listening to what you've been saying. Not great. I don't know that much other than the films and that. But I've read that one with that basically.
Different seasons is
that's
fantastic.
It's got Stand By Me, the body on it, and Shawshank's in there.
Shawshank's in there. Yeah.
So I've read that one, but I've not really read.
Man in that one as well, or is that the Bachman books?
Say that again, sorry.
The Running Man as well.
No, that's the Bachman books, because the whole dystopian. That was a whole dystopian theme he had with The Long Walk and.
Yeah, he was trying to pretend to people with that entire book, Lummy, that it wasn't Stephen King writing it. It was Richard Bachman, the guy. So it's a different style from what people expected. I mean, he didn't realise that people would have still bought it if he just put his own bloody name on it. That's what he does now. Rather than pretend you're another writer writing a totally different sort of genre like that. What's he called? Scottish writer.
I think he did it.
Ian Banks. Ian Banks and Ian M. Banks are the same person, but when he's put an M in his name, it's a sci-fi, and when he's not put an M in there, it's a dystopian novels.
There you go.
Total difference. Yeah, but. So I like the fact that he's turned his hand to doing whatever the hell he wants now.
Well, I mean, it's currently like crime, isn't it? Like to do a comedy.
Yeah, do a comedy. Then you'll get Lummy. Get Candy in it. Get a comedy. Imagine.
Hey, you just tapped into something. Candy can still appear in novels.
He can.
Oh, yeah. Of course he could, mate. That's a cracking idea.
Look at his face.
We're not going to get away. The rest of the show will wash out.
Go in. Stop the show. I'm going. Stop the show. I want to get off.
One of my points about the Stephen King was going to be, why do people struggle so much with getting the endings right or getting a faithful version? But then I realised that people like different things about Stephen King. I know people who think that Needful Things is his best book. I think it's absolutely shite. Not my favourite.
Did you not enjoy Needful Things?
There were bits I really liked about it, but I hated the ending. I thought the ending was really stupid. I really liked the character of.
There weren't enough pictures in it for him.
I really liked the character of Leland Gone. That was a great shout with a shop where you can go and you can get whatever you need.
Ace Morell popped back up, and I like Ace Morell. I like him. But
I thought they were good films, but the second one when he went to Africa wasn't great.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, apart from that, there's a few hit and miss ones for me. The Dark Half, I was never a massive fan of, but
I remember enjoying the Dark Half, but I haven't read it for ages. I'm going to be honest.
It's another one about a twisted writer, though, isn't it? You know, it's the writing that he's, again, a writer.
Sometimes, though, Stephen, he can, like, get really lazy with an ending. You get to the end of Cell.
Hang on,
and
Steve.
I love
Mr. King to you.
Well, like that, me and Steve. Like that.
I bought so many of his books, he owes me, right?
You're best friends.
Yeah, like that.
I know him because I've read everything he's done. I know him.
And I stand in his garden and I shout at his house. Yeah, no, I think like you get to the end of Cell and you can clearly tell he's just gone.
Yeah.
And
but yeah, I think that's a subtle nuance in how he describes it. If it's called a novella or a short story, it's something he can be arsed with. If it's a novel and he's finished it, you know. But it goes back to that Family Guy scene with him in the. There's a little flashback to Stephen King being in the publisher's office, and the publisher's like, "Right, Stephen, what you got for me now?" And he's like, "What about this lamp? Every lamp." And it's like, "Yeah, okay, you fucking fine. Have it on my desk by next Tuesday." Well, you know, he just shoos around the room because it was getting like, "Oh, here's a possessed car. Have you ever read The Mangler? A fucking laundry machine."
I must have read The Mangler, surely.
It's a short story in, I think it's in Nightmares.
I will have read it then because I love Nightmare and Dreamscapes.
And it's an old laundry. It's got this old. It's a mangler. A mangle. You used to have to put the clothes through it to dry them out, and this thing it eats people. And it's an inanimate.
I mean, we've all been there, right?
You have to literally put your hand in it to get eaten by it. So just stay the fuck away from it. It's a solution, you know what I mean? Back up.
I've got to say, I mean, he springs from his loins. When he did In the Tall Grass with Joe Hill, Joe Hill, by the way, some incredible books from and short stories from that guy. Some of them, whoa. But In the Tall Grass, Stephen King and Joe Hill, that is messed up. Have you read it?
No.
It is.
Is that a story or a short story?
It's like a novella. And it's this couple that just pull up at the side of a field full of, guess what, tall grass. And then they hear somebody shouting that they're stuck and they need help. But once you go in, you never get out. And they've just made it again. They've made it into I don't know if it's a series of programs or a one-off, but that is messed up.
We just got this in. Hi guys, much love here from New York City. Does all Geek to Me have an Instagram? We do have an Instagram, don't we, Webb? But what is it? we've got Facebook, we've got YouTube.
Instagram is. I'm too old to know.
Oh, for goodness sake, fellas, you're not on Instagram.
We are on Instagram, but Gittins will know. Where's Gittins? He's still there.
You know why Gary Michele's tuned in from New York? Because of your cracking Stan Lee.
Oh, is that why, Gary? Thank you.
Word spread to New York that there's somebody from Leeds that could do the most amazing New York Stan Lee accent.
Hey, Gary! Nice to have you with me, Spidey fan. Oh, Richard said we're not on Instagram. But, Gary, we are on Facebook, so join us on Facebook. There's loads of episodes that you can enjoy on there.
And we will, thanks for all the love from New York. I've never had love from New York. I know Lumby did once. You went over there, didn't you? Hey, guy. You had a bit of love in New York City.
Hey, Spidey fans, keep it clean. I did go to New York, yes.
You did.
That's where I learned how to do improvisation in New York. When I went over there, it was 15 years ago this very night. When I went over there. You're still watching?
Still got it. Still got it.
Keep going. What do you say?
We need an Instagram. Thanks, Gary, from New York.
We've got. It's all Geek Twit on Twitter though.
There you
go. I've got an Instagram. Have you got an Instagram, Nat?
I have got an Instagram. Yeah.
What's your Instagram, Nat?
It's just. I think it's just search Natalie Smeaton. I think you should find me.
Mine's Instalum.
Instalum. I like that.
Have to check
I've got my Twitter's Twitlum.
InstaWeb.
Twitlum.
That'd be pretty good.
I like me Twitter one. Twitlum.
What do you do on Instagram though? What is it you're doing? What are you posting
put a picture up and you go, "I were here today," and people go, "I don't care." You go, "All right."
Yeah,
get
it's just
one.
Natalie
sound of that.
Smeaton. That's it.
I don't know. It sounds really mean.
No, it's good.
You're just not down with the kids, are you?
I think
You're
Gary's
just not down
probably
with the
not.
kids.
Gary's probably gone after the.
It's not
Stanley.
appropriate. Let me
From-
take down.
Stephen King does have a
Excuse
very
me.
funny Twitter feed, I've got to say.
What was your? I stopped you mid-flow because of Stanley. Then what do we say?
I can't remember.
I can't remember, mate.
Sorry.
I
It's
can't
not about
remember.
Stephen King. Oh, sorry.
What are your top 3 Stephen King books, Webby?
My top 3 are not necessarily the best ones, just the ones I've enjoyed
It
the
don't
most.
matter because they're the best ones to you.
It's number 1 because it just
Get them
is.
Skarsgårds in there. Come on.
Let me think of an interesting one that's good.
Your top 3, not.
I really
do you
do
think
like The
we're
Long
going to think
Walk,
you're
you know,
clever
that's
selling us?
fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic
The Long
short
Walk.
story.
Yeah.
And
You can like one of the pop-up books if you want.
I
know what we're doing. I've got
Cycle of the Werewolf.
I've got
Not many people know about that one. Go on, Chris.
Yeah.
What were you going
got
to say?
something for you. Here, look. Do you know I've talked about this before? Stephen King. You can go on his website. I've got this page up here. Look, and this thing called Dollar Baby, where you can get the rights for $1 to any of his unpublished things and make a short film or whatever you want out of them.
Oh
So
my
they're
God! Is Rainy Season the one with all of them? Oh my! I've read that one. Rainy
So-
Season.
So long as no companies bought the rights, you can actually go on, pay them $1 and make the film. You get to make it.
Rainy Season, we should make that. It's about a killer rain that comes along and all these frogs with teeth come out and eat everybody. It's great.
Right.
You know when you see that, like you hear that and you think that sounds like a completely ridiculous idea. But when you read it, it's terrifying. It's like
Can you? What about? Do you know what this one is here?
They said that about Tremors, and Tremors is a cracking horror film. You know what I mean?
I'm looking though at this list. I'm thinking we could do one of these, one of the easier ones to make. Not one about frogs, because how are we going to do it? But there's one there. I'm thinking here. Look, there's one called The Woman in the Room. I mean, how hard's that going to be? Or The Man Who Loved Flowers. You know.
I'm literally watching a woman in a room right now on this feed. We've already
So
made it.
maybe we could get. Do you reckon? Have you heard of that one, The Woman in the Room?
I
Maybe we
have.
could-
I'm just checking which book it's in.
Hang on a minute. Just go back to the frog thing, right? Because you're already shitting on my dreams, Lummy. I'm
Right,
saying
how are we going to do frogs? We've got to make it.
We'll figure that out later. That's not my problem. My problem
it's
is to
in
create
Night
the
Shift.
idea.
Oh.
Night Shift.
It's
Yeah,
in Night Shift.
That's awesome, that book.
Maybe we should do this. We should get one of these dollar baby book things.
Oh,
and
Frank
do it.
Darabont was looking at adapting The Woman in the Room. It's about a man who essentially euthanizes his terminally ill mum with painkillers. And Frank Darabont wrote to Stephen King, I'm just reading it here, asking permission to adapt the story. So if Frank
Stephen
wanted
King
to do it,
And Stephen King were like, "No, you've had enough, you greedy bastard."
Give us $1, and Frank Darabont went, "No, I haven't got $1 for you." And he went,
I ain't got $1. I've got $3 million. No, I said $1.
But I think that's really cool that the guy does that. Don't you?
yeah, I think it's really good that he does that. To
I
be
think we
honest.
should do it just to say that It's All Geek to Me bought the rights to a movie, and then when it turns out that Stephen, in a few years' time, when people figure out this is a ridiculous premise and it can't make any money, $1 for a whole story, we could sell it.
You get to send it where you want for. I think you get a year to send it to festivals and stuff, and then you've got to like erase it from existence. Really,
all we have to do is keep Disney from buying all the other shit, Stephen King stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'll send that list to you, Nat, and you can see what's on there. I think we should. It'd be good. It'd be a good idea. There's one called Milkman 2. Milkman 1.
That rings a bell. Like, literally send it me, and I'll give you a little summary of each one.
Yeah. That'd be quite a nice idea.
I've read some of those, and that's really cool.
We could premiere it on the Geek channel at Christmas, like they were saying earlier to us.
There you go.
The thing is, right, what Stephen King is particularly good at, right? is
what? So who would you tell? How would you go
about telling them?
Spider-Man. If you were Spider-Man, obviously can't tell everyone. I'd leave little suggestions, for him. I'd like a bit of webbing around the coffee cup or something. So when they pick it up,
around your coffee cup.
No, webbing. Bit of webbing, so they'd like pick it up and go, "Oh, there's a bit of spider web here."
And then would you buy them?
You're such a creative. I'd also love to pick your brain, Lummy. A creative genius. Never mind Stephen King, but Stephen King would take the story of Spider-Man and make it scary. This is the stupid thing about it. When you see something like The Milkman, #1, A Murderous Milkman, oh, come on, that's ridiculous. But when somebody actually puts the effort to make it scary and write it down, it proves that you can make anything scary.
I actually know what that one's about as well. He kills off his people, doing like, there's one where he leaves a tarantula in the carton, the milk carton, and he like kills people off, poisons one.
How do you know that?
Because I once looked at that one. I read it. To have a look at doing it. Because I was going to do it once, that Dollar Baby thing. And and I picked that one and I read it and I thought, but
no, shit, I'm not going to bother. It's not worth it.
Well, no, it was more like, how am I going to send him $1? Because it was before the times of PayPal.
Stick it in an envelope, mate.
Send it off to
Mr. S. King, USA.
Somewhere in Maine.
Please find this with a little note that's like scrolled with all the S's the wrong way around. Dear Mr. King, I wanted to make I don't know about that Spider-Man question now. I don't know.
Did we have the question back up? I didn't digest it. Let me digest it.
If you were Spider-Man, obviously you can't tell everyone that you are Spider-Man. So who would you tell and how would you go about telling them you're Spider-Man?
I think that you would probably kiss Nathan in an alley, wouldn't you?
Upside down.
Upside down, kiss Nathan in an alley. And then he'd like be kissing you and Nathan would go, I know the taste of this Spider-Man, and he'd guess it was you.
I mean, we used to do it at college, so didn't know
any of that shit.
Yeah.
There you
go.
That's where Sam Raimi got it from. He went, "Hey, that's a good idea." And went, "Hey, get out of here."
Honestly, if I was Spider-Man, you say obviously you can't tell everyone, but who says? What are they going to do? I'm fucking Spider. I tell everyone. I put it in.
Yeah, but that's the trouble he's having in the
dickheads.
That's the trouble he's having in the new movie, isn't he? Everybody knows. He's like, I can't deal with this. You'd be in over your head, Webb. You went around telling everybody.
He's a kid. He's a kid.
You wouldn't have a normal life, Webb. Everyone would be asking you to mention shit.
Although you are in a good, secure building where you are, you'd be able to like nip up the wall and just climb in and go, hey, try and get me.
I would tell everybody, absolutely everybody, and I'd go, eat that, dickheads. I'm not even going to wear a costume because sod it. I would. I'd tell everyone.
Nice.
No, honestly, I'd tell a couple of people I trust.
I'd tell everybody.
I'd tell everybody. He ain't got a bloody...
I'd tell you guys. I'd say, can you I'm going to let you know I'm Spider-Man. Do you want alt webbing?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you need alt webbing?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Do you want alt stickifying? I can stickify that for you.
It's really nice of you.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, if you're in, like, when you're going about, if you're Spider-Man, and, like, if you saw somebody that you're like, oh, I don't want to bump into them today, you'd be just, I'm off. You'd be, like, you're able to get out of situations really quick, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, you'd be, hang on a minute. Sorry, I can't talk to you. Your house is burning down. I've got to go.
Yeah. Oh, if they knew you were, Oh, what's that? My spider sense has gone off. Sorry.
But what if you got Spider-Man's powers, but they didn't? But they were a bit more useless. So instead of being able to climb up walls with your sticky hands and feet, the only part of you that was sticky is your back.
Oh. Every time you got into a bath, you couldn't get out.
But the stickiness is on my back. I'm shooting webs out my ass.
Climbing a wall like that.
I think you'd be able to make shooting webs out your ass work, surely.
Yeah, surely. Stay still, criminal.
But how would you know what was the web and what was a, you know?
I mean, you'd just have
what if you did it? What if you were really ill one day and you did it at the same time and just shitty web everywhere all over the city? All dripping off of buildings.
What if every time you faced a supervillain, they just brought like a shower and they could just shower you down a drain?
Yeah.
That's immortal there. Yeah, your natural enemy.
Yeah.
What, are you like slipping every... Oh, no!
You got in a bath, you can't get out, so you always have to have showers.
Surely one of the villains has tried that. They must have done.
Definitely. Just put him in a giant bath and say...
I'll tell you where that would have worked. In the old Batman series, it's different. It's DC in it, but they'd have definitely done that in the old Batman series if that was,
Put a car over him, put a card under it.
Yeah. Throw him out.
The conversation between Uncle Ben and Aunt May where they're like, something's wrong with Peter. There's brown sticky webbing all over the costume.
It's just the phase he's going through.
That's normal for a teenager, mate.
Yeah.
Come on. I used to spend hours in there when I was a nipper.
Hey, that's a good Uncle Ben.
Is it? Thanks,
I don't know.
not in the movie long enough, is he?
It sounded like with great power. It did sound like that. Yeah, I thought it was good. That.
Oh dear.
Do you know who made a great Uncle Ben? Do you know who made a cracking Uncle Ben?
Me, Spidey fans, I'd have been a great Uncle Ben. You know, when they made the first Spidey movie, I suggested myself as Uncle Ben. And they said, no way, Stan, you're having a cameo. And I thought, my cameo days are starting, I'll be in everything.
He's got a story for everything, that guy.
Wow.
Almost
Has Stan ever met Stephen King?
Oh, no. Don't tempt him to just come in before.
I once met Stephen at a book convention. I was there promoting my Art of Marvel series, and I went up to him. I said, hey, those novels you write are really good and interesting, Steve. And he said, don't call me Steve. My name's Stephen.
Wow.
Full of anecdotes,
yeah.
isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I've heard
Really
Stephen
good
be a bit
ones
like that.
too.
Yeah, really. Ones that go somewhere.
Yeah.
They don't just tail off when he gets his
some
answer.
of Stephen King's books, actually. They don't really go anywhere.
They just fizzle out like a Stan Lee sentence.
Webby, do you ever remember? So my two biggest memories of Stephen King, right, are one, when we had middle schools. I went to a middle school, and every single week we went to the library, and we would just be like loose in the library for like half an hour. And I would always creep into the horror section and look at Stephen King titles. I was never allowed to get them out, obviously. And that was my first introduction, looking at the bloody, slavering face of Cujo. Oh, that's why I started reading him. But I can remember when I was like 15, 16, reading Salem's Lot and being so scared that I couldn't open the book fully.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was reading it half open so I could close it really quickly.
I can remember specific instances of scenes that made me want to be braver so I could finish them properly, you know what I mean? Like the scene with Eddie Kasprak when he's in when he goes to the house in the basement and the leper's after him and it's fucking right behind him.
Yeah.
Terrifying. But he's really good at breaking my heart, is Stephen King. More than scaring me, he's really good at taking a character I've got attached to and killing them off and making me want to weep. He's really good at that. He's really good at writing characters, not just writers, but characters that I have no affiliation with and they're completely different for me, but I kind of see myself, like Eddie in The Dark Tower. Kind of always saw myself as a bit of an Eddie. I'm not at all. I'm not from New York. I'm not the same age. I'm nothing like him at all. Never been a heroin addict. So, you know, it doesn't really make any sense, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, this guy's he's bang on it, you know. It's weird when you identify with a character like that.
Yeah.
But that's what Misery's about, isn't it? That whole Stephen King effect. He must have come across so many crazy people that were like, oh my God, I knew exactly that you were speaking to me when you wrote this character or did that. And he's like, no, I won't. It's impossible for me to do that.
But we know what I love about some of his characters is even the worst ones, he sometimes makes you feel a bit sorry for.
Yeah.
Do you have moments where you're like, oh, I'm really sad that you're going to get your head bashed in by a typewriter. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he writes just the most evil piece of shit that you can't wait. Like the guy from The Green Mile, Percy Wetmore.
Oh,
you
Percy
can't
Wetmore.
wait to see him get his comeuppance.
Yeah. Can we all agree that Percy Wetmore is the most evil character to ever be committed to page? Because I believe truly he is.
I honestly believe that Randall Flagg is nicer than Percy Wetmore.
Well, Percy Wetmore's
Black.
a human being, isn't he? Yeah. Like, there is a Percy Wetmore out there right now.
Does it in the book? Does he not? What is it? Is it pretty close to the book, The Green Mile?
Really close, really close.
So like the thing with the sponge and all that,
and you see it coming because you know this guy's bad news.
What about the dialogue as well? Is it pretty much word for word, or is it?
Same.
Wow.
Moon pie being spat in the face and everything. Yeah. It's all really, really similar, but not just that. The feel of it, the way it feels to read that character, that makes your skin crawl, and you want him gone. From the minute he gets on that on that
mile,
the Green Mile, the minute he gets on there, you want him gone because he doesn't fit in with everyone else. Edgecombe's got it sorted. He trusts him. He knows put him there, and everything will be fine. And then all of a sudden, this fucking guy comes, and you think there's no way it can be as bad.
And it's nepotism, isn't it? And it's like the old boys' club, and he's only there because of his connections, and he's just a hideous bully of a horrible person. And I'd rather be stuck in a cell with Sam Rockwell's character than I would be
me
with
too.
Percy Wetmore, frankly.
Me too,
yeah. Because he's just a hideous human being. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know when he stopped drinking and taking drugs. Stephen King. I think it was early 80s.
I'm not sure, but
drugs,
that sounds
drugs
about right.
in the early 80s. And there's a weird difference in his writing. His writing slows down a bit. It's less manic. It's a little bit more... it takes more time to get through a story. It takes his time. I mean, dude, one of his books is called Insomnia, and it's about a bloke that's got writer's block. When he had writer's block, instead of stopping writing and saying, I'll wait till the idea comes, I said, just write my way through it. So the first, 60 pages or so of a character that's trying to write, and he can't get a word out. It's just ridiculous to be that good at writing. Even when you've got writer's block, you can't stop yourself.
Have you read Stephen King's On Writing?
Yes. Yeah,
because what I really loved, the thing that stood out to me the most from that book was he said that he doesn't start any of his stories knowing where they're going to end. He just starts writing them, and then he allows the characters to come through the pen and tell him what's going to happen next, essentially. So sometimes he's as surprised as everybody else as to where something goes or a turn a story will take.
I guess that's why he can write so much stuff as well, though, because if he writes like that, he must just get stuff flowing, where some people will structure everything, won't they, and go through and go, oh, I need that at the start, middle and end and all that. And, if can do that, I guess.
To be that good at writing that all you've done is write from, 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the evening every day for the past 50 years. To know that, I'm writing this, I don't know where it's going, but, this one's a novella, that one's a short story, this one's going to be a book. And I guess it's all about the ideas this guy must have thrown away, even in some of his most popular books. It boggles the mind. He really is a natural. People are horrible about Stephen King all the time because he writes such pulp books. He's such a popular author, but they have to give him credit for when he writes a good book. But there's all these filler books as well, and they're awful to him. As they say, he writes, but he writes too much. He over describes, and they're right. He does. You don't just walk into a room in a Stephen King book. The character walks into a room, he sees the beam of sunlight coming through the room and the dust motes floating about in it, and then he notices the weft of the carpet and the thick, you know what I mean? It's too much, the detail. But he's a fucking writer. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Well, when you read you have not read The Institute yet, but when you read The Institute, when you read the back cover, and it's about this little boy who gets taken from his family and taken to an institute with other children where they essentially are, they're used as weapons with their psychic abilities until they're dead, and they're never seen again. But the first 60, 70 pages are about a man turning up in a town and getting a job and getting settled in, who then at the end is a very, very important part of the plot. But I was reading it thinking, okay, this is beautifully written and I'm enjoying myself, but when are you going to get started, mate? But then he gets started and it is just balls to the road, there's no brakes on it at all. But I think when you're reading, you're absolutely right. You've sometimes, at the beginning of Mr. Mercedes, you meet a character who in the first 2 lines he tells you is going to die. He's he's going up, he's going to a job fair. He doesn't realise that by the end of the day, he's going to be dead. And then you go to the job fair with him and he's in a queue and he meets a lovely lady. And then he dies. And I personally love that about Stephen King. But I know that some people can find it quite emotionally.
To be perfectly frank with you, I think for me it's a difference in what I was to what I am now. And I'm a little bit more, I'm less patient now than I was. I used to give it time. I used to say, right, I'll just give it time and let the book unfold in front of me. But now I feel like I haven't got enough time. So if in 30 pages I'm not engaged, I'm probably not going to finish your fucking book. So just don't have enough time.
You'll go get the film instead.
And weirdly enough, it coincided right around the time that I got a smartphone. And
the devil's device.
Yeah.
Put it away. Get your book out and put it away.
I wonder what Stan Lee's got to say.
With me ruler.
Stephen King making his story from the X-Men.
Give me your hands, Webb. That smartphone down. Put it down. Read a book.
There you go.
I held my hand out. But the guy shits out good ideas, and even when he's got a bad idea, he just sits on it like a little egg and just waits till it turns into something else. And like, it's so weird. This guy.
I mean, it's when he takes that egg and cracks it and makes an omelette with it. I mean, that's really what he does.
You can nourish your mind with the yolk.
Yeah. I was going to say, instead of saying let's be frank about it, can we now say let's be darabont about it? I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
I'm up for that.
Darabont.
I mean, let's be darabont about it.
That sounds like a proper word.
Yeah.
Good.
Thought of it then. Said let's be frank. Let's be darabont.
But yeah, the Institute premise does sound like a Stan Lee book. Sounds like the X-Men.
Stan Lee.
Gifted children.
Don't say him off.
Evil X-Men.
Hey, I'll tell you, as you like your horror novels, right? You reminded me. I've got my books back here. I've got this, and I haven't really properly looked at it. Paperbacks from Hell. It's basically loads of horror book covers. So it just shows you the artwork from loads of horror books.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
It's quite an interesting one, yeah.
That's a good little coffee table book, that. It actually seems more up Nat Street than it does yours. What the hell have you got it for, you fool?
That's the artwork. I like artwork.
The artwork's on the books. I watched this video just as a little bit of preparation. It wasn't what I intended to watch. I wanted to watch a sort of a recap on some of Stephen King's stories, and what I ended up watching was some American bloke who's recently read every Stephen King book, ranked 61 of his books in order of his preference.
Wow.
And for some reason, I found it compelling enough to watch the whole thing. The number one was one that I'm not a fan of, but he stuck by it. Something like Needful Thing. But yeah, he was like, people don't like this book, I like it. It's personal choice, whatever. That wasn't the point. The point is that like the guy's got 61 fucking books before you've looked at any of his short stories or anything.
Yeah.
And it's a bit hard to just pick out gems from here and there. But I love certain phrases he uses in books, and I love certain characters. I'd really love to have time to reread everything again, because I was a kid when I read these books. It's been 30 years since I read some of them.
Yeah, well, that's the trouble when such a prolific writer, isn't it? You want to keep up with what he's putting out now. You haven't got time to go back and read. I read The Stand for the first time in something like 15, 20 years last year. And I've not read that for ages and ages, and I reread it. But I want to go back and reread Carrie, Cujo, Christine, because I think I would read them in a completely different way. But he keeps writing bloody new ones, doesn't he?
What book from his old school stuff would you recommend somebody read if they're just starting out on a Stephen King journey?
Never do It. If you've never ever read Stephen King, people always do It. And don't ever do It, because...
Why not? Too big.
It's big. If you're not used to the way that he writes, it can feel a bit rambly. There's a scene in it which is really controversial, which is never been any in the movies. Like, controversial.
The kids' sex scene.
The kids' sex scene. It bats back and forth. If you don't know how he writes very well, you just can't get into it. I would never recommend that.
Yeah, it is jarring. Yeah. And it jumps around all over the place.
Misery. Yeah.
You'd
go with Misery. Go with Salem's Lot. I like Salem's Lot. Or Pet Sematary. If you want to get horror, Pet Sematary has got some absolutely brilliant bits in. The bit with the dumbwaiter. Oh,
the last page is terrifying.
Did you see the remake? The latest one of that, was that any good? Or I liked the old one with Herman Munster in.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. Yeah, but I'm not seeing the new one. I'll tell you which book I'd recommend if you just want to try something that's a bit of a gateway one and it's fun. A little book called The Long Walk. I'm kidding. There's actually something like Thinner, when a dude gets a curse put on him by a gypsy where he can't stop losing weight and he slowly starts getting thinner and thinner. It sounds really stupid, but it's a perfect example of how Stephen King can make anything scary.
Yeah, it's good.
Because you just go, that's a daft idea, I won't follow it through to its logical conclusion. But he doesn't do that. He just goes, well, I will. I'll stick with it and I'll keep teasing you, and you'll start to see that it's actually quite a terrifying concept to not be able to stop losing weight because you've got a gypsy curse.
If you could be in any Stephen King movie, who would you be and why?
I could be in one.
Yeah, character from the ones that have been made. I know I've just put you on the spot. Just think of these questions. Just come
That's hard. That's tricky. For the ones that have been made.
Yeah.
That's a difficult one. I'd be somebody like Dick Halloran, who's just a nice old bloke.
What's he?
Nice guy. I like those. He's in The Shining. He's the chef that introduces. That tells Danny, the kid in The Shining, tells him he's got The Shining, and tells him that's what his grandma used to call it, and we can feel things.
I didn't know he was the chef.
Really sweet man. Yeah, he's a chef in the hotel.
And when you watch Doctor Sleep, the actor that they've got playing him is brilliant. Sorry, go on.
It's almost you spit of him, isn't he?
Yeah. And the actress is Shelley Duvall. She looks really good in it too.
Yeah, but it's difficult to pick. Most of his characters are madmen or alcoholics, so it's difficult to choose somebody that comes out with redeeming factors. But I'll tell you a book that I would never recommend to people by Stephen King. I found it so jarring and so boring. I've no intention of ever reading it again, and the film sucked as well. Tommyknockers, absolute piece of shit.
Everybody absolutely hates on Tommyknockers, and I read it and I can't remember getting to the end of it and hating it.
Nah, it's just not a good one. It's just not interesting.
What's
I don't think
it
does. It's about aliens. It doesn't do aliens very well, I don't think.
This woman like trips over something in her backyard, and it's like a piece of metal sticking up. So she starts to dig it out, and as she's uncovering more and more of what this is, everyone in the town starts to go a little bit mad. Like this woman's got this holographic picture of Jesus on a TV, and it starts talking to her, and like people start to lose their minds, start murdering each other a bit, gets a bit murdery, and eventually when she's dug it out almost fully, it's a crashed alien spaceship. It's a bit weird.
And what's the most scariest one you've read then? What's the most scariest Stephen? Where you've gone? I can't. Got to put it down a minute.
First time I read Salem's Lot, I had to keep putting it down. Like I've read it again since. But
I don't know, man. For me, it was something like there's a bit more grounded in reality. There's a book he does called Gerald's Game. That's about a husband and wife. It's not a normal Stephen King book. A husband and wife, and he's a domineering bit of a bastard of a husband. And they go away for a dirty weekend in a log cabin, and they're in the middle of a sex game where she's handcuffed to the bed, and she lashes out with a leg, and she kicks out and kicks the guy, and he falls over and fucking smashes his skull in, while she's chained to a bed in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. And it's that simple. But the door's open, the door's left ajar, and there's fucking wolves in the neighbourhood. Like there's wolves. So mate, the way he describes her getting thinner and thinner with the handcuffs on, to the point where I think that's how she gets out in the end. Her arms become
she ends
so
up degloving her hand.
She ends up taking her own skin to pull herself out of this handcuff, while her husband's dead corpse is on the floor, still fucking with her brain. Still teasing
because
her.
She starts to hallucinate, doesn't she? And like, it's really good.
And thirst.
Wow.
And at one point, a wolf or a dog comes in the room, and she can't get away from it. It's about to bite her legs off. I will do whatever it wants, eat her. She can't get away from it, and it's just that's for one for me. That it's not a brilliant book, but it really captures that fear really well. It's not a bad idea for a story, that is it? Even though I think they made a movie out of that.
They did it on Netflix. Yeah, highly recommend watching the Netflix version. I thought they did it really well. The Girl Who Loves Tom Gordon as well isn't talked about much, but that's got a horrible, creepy, like, you know, when you watch an old-fashioned black and white horror movie like The Haunting of Hill House, that like layer on the terror, and you don't really see much to start with, and not really much is happening, but you're still becoming more and more like. Or like the Japanese version of The Ring, it's becoming more and more intense, that when something does happen, you're like, Girl Who Loves Tom Gordon, it's just about a little girl who gets lost in the woods and is trying to find a way out, but she feels like she's being followed by something.
Ooh.
And you never really find out whether she was or not, whether she was imagining it because she becomes hungry and she's thirsty, or whether she really was being stalked by like a supernatural. Oh, it just gives you chills.
We were talking about Ghosts of the Night, weren't we? Not after GEEK.
We were.
We scared ourselves a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, some ghost stories flying around there.
Spooked ourselves up before driving back.
Yeah, we need a geektacular Halloween special. Get Natalie.
I will love that.
You can bring your scary photo on that. Would you be able to show it?
I can ask permission,
That'd be
Yeah.
brilliant if we all sat and tried to tell each other a story.
With lights out with a torch.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so yeah, bloody hell. I mean, Stephen King, you could just throw a fucking stick or a rock at one of his books and you got something to talk about. But things like that, you don't think about. Lummy, like Gerald's Game is a throwaway book he did. It's not considered one of his classics by any means, but it's still got that. And again, it's very similar to Misery. It's got that sense of terror about it. You're just terrified for Paul Sheldon as he's trapped in that bed and she's on her way back from the market and he's... You know
oh my God, he's trying to get back to the room.
Oh
just get back to the room. Oh,
it's
God.
even scarier in the frigging book, but it's really bad in the film as well.
Yeah.
And then she notices because he's turned that bloody little penguin just a little bit too much, pointing the penguin in the wrong
always
direction.
faces him due north, Paul. She always faces him due north.
You thought I would have known it's you dirty bird. Yeah, she's fucking great in that. Even that character is so good that when they did Castle Rock, the series which is based in Stephen King's world, and they dipped into the well a different character from here and there, they had a younger woman playing Annie Potts. Is it Annie Potts?
Annie Wilkes.
Annie Wilkes.
Annie Potts is Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Annie Wilkes. I'm getting my ghosties mixed up. But even the character in that is a little younger than old Annie Potts, Annie Wilkes. Like, it's a little bit younger, but just as crazy. I don't know if you saw Castle Rock. I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah,
some like proper Easter eggy. You know what I mean? Like full of little things. I was always reading. You know, the beginning when it started with the little. It shows you his books and it goes through all the pages and little bits of it are highlighted. I was just fascinated with what was going to come out of his. What we're going to pick from. And there was also.
Well, I mean, look at everything you've got to choose from. And they've got so many opportunities to remake some of the films. Like, I wish they'd remake Running Man.
Yeah, because I
thought they were doing.
It's nothing like the book. Novella.
No, it deserved better than Arnie and a cheap sci-fi remake.
You mean the line isn't in the book where he goes, "I'll be back," and he says only on a rerun? Is that not in? Is that not in the original text?
Stephen King could never write that sort of poetry.
Mild similarities between the movie and the book. Very, very mild, but yeah, it's one of the less faithful adaptations. It's kind of like the Shining. It's a bit worse than that. But yeah. Bloody hell. Talked myself into a stupor.
Are you?
Crikey.
A bit busy.
Oh. You can go have a lay down.
I'm going to have a cordial.
That'll sort you out.
Well, it's nearly time to wrap up anyway. We've been on here 2 hours, 12 minutes, so I don't know.
Flipping 12 minutes extra of goodness. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's no time limit on this stuff, but you know, if you want to talk about all else, go for it.
I'm just going to say to everybody, if you love Stephen King, read some Joe Hill, particularly Heart-Shaped Box or Nosferatu. Flipping brilliant.
Okay.
Really good.
Good,
especially a Heart-Shaped Box.
See, I like the thing that works for me about Stephen King is a good mixture of a decent story and a bit of thrill, a bit of horror in there. So if the story is that I don't want to read a book that's just trying to scare me, it's got to have a story. I think that's another reason I like it. By the way, is it's fucking epic. There's a book by Clive Barker. I don't know if you've ever read any Clive Barker. Now
I have.
Have you? The English Stephen King. One of my favourite books by him is a book called Galilee.
I haven't read that one.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful book. It's epic. It spans thousands of years, but it comes right up to the modern day. And it's essentially about a family like the Kennedy family in America, a massively famous, wealthy family. And every time somebody in this family, one of the men, gets married to a woman, the woman goes away to a desert island, and Galilee comes along, and bones are senseless. Galilee's this guy. They have to, you know, and the latest incarnation of this is that the woman falls in love with Galilee, and they start a relationship kind of thing. But Galilee is actually half a god. It's made a deal. It's crossed between a human and a god. It's half god. And they've made a deal, the gods and this old family, to keep the family prosperous forever. That they will always have this deal where they've got to give their wives over to this guy. It's really weird, but it's beautiful. It goes thousands and thousands of years, really biblical and beautiful. I'd highly recommend that. It's one of those that I've lent out about 5 times and never seem to get it back. I've had to buy that book like 5 or 6 times. I'll be surprised if
stop lending it out then.
Yeah.
Well, nobody wants to
Save
buy
your
it.
money.
Don't give them it for no. They're just like, I'm not going to spend money on it.
Tell them to buy it, the tight bastards.
I'll buy it, Webby, on your recommendation. If you buy a heart-shaped box on mine. So, very simple premise. This aging rock star, not a particularly nice person, with his latest, like, young groupie thing, who he doesn't even bother to learn the names of the women he sleeps with anymore. He just calls them by the state that they're from.
Hang on.
Go on. Just calls them by the state that they're from. There you go. So he's retired, but he collects like horror stuff, and he sees online somebody's advertising a suit which comes with a ghost. So he buys it, then all hell breaks loose. But you start off like reading one story, and by the end of it, it's completely flipped. It's absolutely brilliant.
Cool.
Honestly, I'll send you a link to it so you know where it is.
I didn't even check when I bought my wedding suit from Debenhams whether it came with a ghost or not. So now I'm worried about
When's your wedding, Webb? Because when is it? Because I know the night do's happening. That's only for selected people.
Yeah, like you. You're not upset.
They're all this time. No, I'm holding it in. It's fine.
All right.
Oh no,
yeah, I'm getting married at the end of November, the 20th. I don't want to tell you too much if I'm on the internet and everybody's like,
look at his face.
I'm just looking at what day I'm allowed to come.
27.
Was that November? So that's obviously after the big day.
Yeah, we couldn't have everybody at the wedding. We're not millionaires.
COVID don't matter now. You can have loads.
No,
I won't even eat. I'll just sit there. I just want to enjoy your special day by watching it.
You won't even know I'm there.
I'll literally sit there. I'll bring a packed lunch. I'll sit at the side like that going...
No, you won't. You'll be there on wedding night like that. What are you guys doing in there?
No, I won't. I know when to leave you alone. Give me some credit. I know there's magic on the wedding night. I genuinely would sit there. I won't be any trouble.
Oh, bless him. Look at him.
Be any trouble. I'd sit there.
To be live on internet for?
Talk about it later. No, want an answer.
I've all the money in the world.
I'm only kidding. Hey, you just enjoy yourselves. That's what it's about.
The thing is, as well, if at this point the 4 people that I've invited and the 4 people that Joe have invited, we cut it down to 4 people each, man. Right? That's including my mum, my brother.
Your mum won't be bothered.
So at the end of the day, if I were to now say, oh yeah, I've invited one more people, and it's not my sisters, it's just you, then I think...
they're not going either. I feel better now.
That's what I mean.
I feel better knowing that. I thought they'd all be, all right.
After taking my tiny little piece of joy and ruining it.
I didn't know everybody wanted. All right,
you're coming to the best bit, mate. The other bit's a bit.
That's the magical bit where I see you both say it.
Oh.
We might live stream.
He's getting choked up.
It's all right, dude. Hey, I'll turn up later. I'll turn up later and get drunk.
Are you going to turn up drunk already?
Of course I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, that'd be piss funny if you showed up to a wedding party, just booted the door and went, "Let's get this fucking party started."
Well, that music.
7 o'clock and all kids are there, like,
yeah.
You're the only drunk person. Yeah, that'd be great. Anyway, yeah, that's enough about marriage.
I don't know. We've been talking about lots of stuff tonight. It's been good.
We've covered a lot of ground.
I think we've done everything, haven't we, tonight that was on the agenda. Unless there's any more comments anybody wants to put up, it's gone a bit quiet in comments. People are still watching.
For fans of Mr. Gittins out there, unfortunately, Gittins can't make next week either.
What?
We have got a picture of him though.
Weeks to see his sweet little butt. So we might have another guest next week. We haven't worked out who yet.
There he is, look.
There he is.
Look at those
We didn't
blue
think
eyes.
that'd do it twice.
He's been practicing for his panto tonight. There he is.
There he is.
Peter Pan is doing.
Oh, you think they'd have given him knees with them trousers? They cut the knees out of his fucking trousers.
Oh.
Oh, boy. No
Bless
wonder he's
him.
always saying he's got cold knees. I thought he would just pull him in the leg.
They're thingy pads, aren't they? He knows.
Thingy pads, you know.
Brake pads on his knees. What are the pads?
I mean, he's looking pretty
Lily
dashing with that
pads?
sword.
Yeah.
Take it back to Muppets.
I wonder if that guy actually managed to land properly, because it looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it? It looks like he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because his hands are up by his
If you
side.
had to caption this photo, maybe the caption says, and after this one fell stroke, it was the last time they saw him alive.
Moments later, he was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't ask permission to use these photos. He might sue us.
Well, that's your problem for the record. Oh, matron.
I was going to say young Kenneth Williams.
Oh, dear.
He's not Kenneth Williams, is he?
Kenneth
Which Carry On?
Williams would have never grown a beard.
No.
No,
Which Carry
come
On
on now.
person would he be?
Barbara
Cabbage.
Windsor.
Oh, Sid. Oh, dear. Well,
All right,
so
no.
when's he going to be back then? A week on Monday, is he?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, he's working next week. He's doing some research. He's off to see Back to
Oh,
Future
yeah.
musical,
Back
isn't
to
it?
future.
He needs to come on after intermission and tell us how it's going.
Yeah, he might just come on.
1.21
Great Scott,
gigawatts.
it's marvellous.
Yeah. But he could do that right report thing, couldn't he? I'm here live at Back to the Future, the musical, with all people walking around. You know, like you see them things. It'd be great, that.
Or, like, I mean, he kind of wanted to do something tonight. But we're like, Rich, you've got stuff to do. Don't break your back trying to pop into the show. But maybe next week we could let him, like, just live stream the Back to the Future musical. Or
Yes.
on like that.
No special guest next week.
Yeah. I'd watch it. I'd watch it in that format. I would watch it on a tiny window in here.
Why have I just thought of something that I've seen recently with Christopher Lloyd in costume for something?
It was Rick and Morty.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, is that a part of the Rick and Morty show, or is it just a spoof, or what?
I don't know. I think it must be a bit of the episode because there were a few different
Tell you what
promos.
else he was in. He was in Nobody.
Oh yeah, I've not seen it yet.
he
That
was
don't
in
spoil it.
Nobody with,
Don't spoil it.
Your
man. You
Your man.
Soul Man.
Breaking Bad man, what's he called? You know the better called Saul fella. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good in that, playing his dad.
I want to watch that. I've not seen it yet, so don't spoil it.
It's all right, man.
Yeah,
It's
shut
all
up,
right.
Webby.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
spoil it.
All right, I'll try not to spoil it.
All right.
I'm-
Right. Well, I think we better wrap things up, haven't we? So, have you got anything you want to plug? Nat, have you got?
I don't. All I can say, nice nipple work there, Webby.
Chilly.
I haven't got anything to plug, but I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, chaps. I've really had a good time. Thank
Well,
you.
we'd love to be able to say the same.
I did send you a Puna box earlier on today, so
Yeah, I got that. Thank you.
Yay!
Thanks
Cool.
for that.
The first
Special.
one was so tasty.
Stephen King will be listening in. Poo in a box.
Yeah, great idea. Got it.
I
There's
want
a
some
guy
more
who
of
checks
that
into
from
a motel and he poos in boxes and mails them out, and nobody knows who sent the poo.
He would make that scary.
I reckon he would do something with Stan Lee as well. Stan Lee's a ghost that's haunting Lummy, and he just keeps popping into his room every
Duh.
night.
Yeah,
Just try to do stuff.
yeah, like that
Anyway.
woman.
That sounds like a swell idea to me, Spidey fans. When I was back in the Marvel studio offices, I used to come up with all sorts of crazy ideas. Once this guy came in to me, he said, "Hey, Stan, how do you come up with these ideas?" And I said, "They just come to me."
Oh, there you go. Another classic story.
He doesn't end them. He doesn't end his stories.
I know. I love
There's
what
no
you're
ending.
doing. That's brilliant.
I
No
said
ending.
to him, "Hey, shut up and take a shit in this box."
Yeah. It tells a story, doesn't it? It doesn't end it. It's nothing to do with what you're talking. You know, I don't know.
He's allowed his Stan
I
Lee.
don't know how much blame I can actually put on Stan Lee for that, though.
Well,
He's
he's coming on. He's coming on.
No.
We're channeling him.
Oh, wow. I can't wait for the Halloween Spooktacular.
There's going to be some...
I love Halloween
right.
so much.
You can come on for that. We'll make an executive decision now without Gittins here, so you can't override us.
I would love to.
Come on the Halloween special. I can even tell you what.
You're allowed to wear a spooktacular costume, but it's got to be geek related. It can be horror, but it's got to be geek related.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, if we're going by when Halloween is, it should be Tuesday the 26th of October, the Halloween special, because that's the Tuesday before Halloween. You don't want to do it after.
Yeah.
No.
I hate that.
Nurses,
Do you know when?
No slutty nurses or sexy cats.
All of them. I'm going to wear them all at once.
It's forbidden. I want you to make another year.
Do you hate that, though, when Halloween specials are doing and it's after the date? I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Agree.
This might be a good time to mention the whole reason I brought the Muppets up was because that's the next project I've got in line for the Muppets on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween.
How did we miss that?
Haunted Mansion Muppets.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up, because I'm like, what? Is that your fucking brilliant idea?
Yeah.
How is that going to even, unless it's amazing, how is it going to rescue the Muppets?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I'm an idiot. So,
Hey, you don't think they're going to kill them all off, do you? Because of the Haunted Mansion.
No, sure.
Just the ones that can't do the voices anymore. Just the difficult voices. So
all of them.
Gone. Yeah, Fozzie's gone. Piggy's gone.
Kermit.
Yeah,
Kermit.
Kermit's all right. Everybody can do Kermit.
Yeah, well, the guy who's doing him at the moment.
He does Kermit. It's just about 4 octaves lower than Kermit's usual voice.
Do you know what? I think with the Muppet voices, seriously, you can tell they've not got the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, they need the beating heart.
They've not got the heart of the Muppet in them.
You could put any Muppet on your hand in the world as long as you're holding the beating heart of an ex-Muppeteer.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. They're not going at it with the heart of the character. They're going in it just going, "This is a job. I'm doing my voice." They're not going, "I've got to get into the soul and the heart of this character. What is he? What do they do?"
Nobody left
Did they
from the
spend
original
weeks and
Muppets
weeks?
team to tell them how they did it in the first place. There's nobody there to tell them anymore. They've all
Go
left.
live by a swamp.
Yeah, I bet they don't
Go live by a
riff
swamp.
anymore. They don't riff, do they?
No.
Look
Anyway,
at that.
Aww.
That's your photo you wanted, Webb.
I love them little Muppets.
Henson's there in middle key seeing.
Right. This is season 1 of the Muppets as well, because Fozzie and Piggy are shit. They didn't work out the puppet until the next season.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird. When you watch season 1, you really want it to be good, but it's not as good because there's really dodgy looking puppets in it. Anyway, enough of the fucking Muppets. I'm sorry I love the Muppets so much. Did you
Never apologise to your
never
Muppet.
Here's a
apologise.
rumour as well, a Lego rumour that next year they're looking at doing the Muppets Theatre.
Wow.
After
I mean,
the
that's
success of the Sesame Street.
a must-buy for you, isn't it? That.
Holy shit, yeah.
I mean, you wanted that. They did the theatre, didn't they, with the playset thing, with the figures, didn't they?
Jesus, that's been 300 quid for years if you want it, and now, God no, it must be over $1,000 now to buy that. That's all right. I've got that one. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap up the episode then. So, anything to promote? Nat's not got all. Have you got all Webb you want to tell anybody about?
Nah.
All right.
I just do this. Come and watch this again next week.
Come and watch this next week. We'll be here again. We don't know who's going to be on with us. We'll have to see what's happening. So Rich is away next week again, but I'm sure he'll pop up and tell us how Back to the Future is going. But I've got tomorrow night. I've got me radio show, Box Office Radio. There's the thing. Bill Murray, music from the films of Bill Murray tomorrow night.
Lovely.
And I've crammed in a load of tracks. It's the biggest episode I've ever done. There's that much music.
Whoa,
So look out for that tomorrow night.
I'm yawning at your statement there. You just unfortunately said it when I was mid-yawn, so it looks bad. That sounds really good.
Hey, I've got a load of music from your mate, your director mate. What's he called?
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. There's about 4 tracks in there for you.
Have you got, by any chance, a lovely song that's on the Darjeeling Limited album called Strangers by the Kinks?
Nah.
A great song.
Nah, I didn't bother.
Check that song out, man. It's a really good one.
I will. Right, cool. So, I think we better close, haven't we? From all of us here at All Geek to Me, thanks for joining us this evening. Thanks to everybody who's left comments and joining with the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Thanks to Nat for coming in to spend some time with us this evening.
Had a great time.
Thanks for telling us all about Stephen King. It was really interesting. I'm going to try and read some Stephen King's on your recommendations there, because I would like to. So that's cool. Thanks to Stan Lee for popping in all night long, even though we didn't ask him to.
Don't worry about it, Spidey fans.
All night long.
All night.
What's Stanley's way?
Right, we better say night. So goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.